7. They forced 3 turnovers after Notre Dame had driven into the red zone. Skip Holt said, "We weren't going to come off the bus with a camera around our neck." Hey, Skip, somebody better have a camera. This might be a camera-worthy moment for South Florida in the program. Kellen Moore's had a lot of snapshot moments. Nobody has more wins. He may have more than anybody in the history of the sport by the time his career's done.
This is Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week.
Boise State's Chris Peterson's the winningest coach in the country in the last 5 years. They have a little bit of blue turf. It'll become green turf at the Georgia Dome for Kellen Moore, a Heisman finalist a year ago. On the other side, waiting in their home state, the Georgia Bulldogs of the SEC. A pivotal season for Mark Richt after a 6-7 campaign a year ago, but he's got a sophomore quarterback who can light it up in Aaron Murray. The Georgia Bulldogs in their home state to start their season against the Broncos of Boise State. The Mountain West against the SEC is next. Inside the Georgia Dome, it's the Red Sea. We welcome you to the Chick-fil-A kickoff game presented by Hampton Hotels. And it's all part of Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week. Number 5, Boise State. Number 19, Georgia, in front of a sellout crowd. We welcome you to Atlanta, everybody, on this Labor Day weekend. I'm Brad Nussler with Todd Blackledge. Partner, what a difference 5 or 6 years makes. Back in 6 years ago, over in Athens, it was a shellacking. The Broncos went home busted after Georgia roughed them up between the hedges. And now it's number 5, Boise State, a higher national ranking, and they're favored in SEC country over Georgia.
Yeah, well, clearly Boise State over the last few years has had more success on the field than Georgia, and the Broncos have proven they're not just a trick play wonder, they're a legitimate power. And Kellen Moore is the guy that makes them go, their quarterback. He wins a lot. He prepares and studies as well as anybody in college football, and when he is on rhythm, he is deadly accurate with the football. That's what makes him so dangerous for Boise State.
Well, you know, the Georgia Bulldogs came into last season. They had a big question mark at their quarterback position. That question mark's been erased in Aaron Murray.
Yeah, now Aaron Murray is extremely talented. He has a big leg arm, can make all the throws, very athletic, but I think for Aaron Murray to take the next step in his development and become the best quarterback in the SEC, he needs to take a page out of Kellen Moore's book. Get a little calmer with his feet in the pocket and anticipate more on his throws. Throw to open windows and throw his receivers open instead of waiting till those guys look clear open.
The Georgia Bulldogs were 6-7 last year. That's not acceptable in this part of the country. Their fans know that, and they are so ready for this season to begin. And maybe take that bad taste out of their mouth. Since 2006, you can see it's been a slide. No SEC championship game appearances, only 14-12 in the last 2 years, and they've lost 7 of the last 8 against ranked opponents. They hope to start to turn that around on this first night of the season of 2011. So much anticipation for the Georgia fans. Disappointed last year. They lost the bowl game. They didn't even score a touchdown against Central Florida. But now they come out against a Boise State team that last year went 12-1. The Broncos, who have changed conferences now, they're in the Mountain West. And they're one of 3 teams with 12 or more wins, 3 consecutive seasons, 5 straight years, and at least 10 wins for the Broncos of Boise State. Clad in all white for the first time, the Broncos, and waiting in the tunnel in their Nike combat uniforms with silver helmets. The only thing that's normal is that familiar G on the side of the helmet. The Georgia Bulldogs, the number 2 pick in the SEC East. They've got South Carolina next week, but tonight it's Boise State, and here come the Dogs. I'd say they're ready for some football in Atlanta. Boise State trying to make a run to a title. Georgia trying to get back on track in the SEC. It's the SEC on ESPN coming up in a minute.
For breakfast, try our tasty chicken biscuit.
Running backs don't stand in line. We run through them, especially with Nike Pro Combat Hyper Strong. Nike Pro Combat.
I forgot my wallet, Steven Jackson.
Take every advantage. Nike Pro Combat Hyper Strong at Dick's Sporting Goods. Better athlete, better team.
The 2011 Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. And Northwestern Mutual. The power to predict your own financial future. Learn more at northwesternmutual.com.
OAR playing today at Centennial Olympic Park. That's taking on the world today off their new CD King. The Chick-fil-A kickoff game here in Atlanta in its 4th season. Chris Peterson, 61-5 as he enters his 6th season as head coach. 2 Paul Bear Bryant Awards. He won the Bobby Dodd Award in Atlanta right here this past offseason. He's missing some important players. He'd like to have these 3 guys. With more on that, 3rd member of our team, Holly Rowe.
Well, Boise State has decided to hold these 3 guys out of this game tonight while they review their eligibility with the NCAA. They're submitting paperwork, working with the Mountain West Conference to answer some questions. All 3 players came from the Netherlands to Boise to live. They're trying to get that resolved. They just weren't able to do it in time for this game tonight. Guys, this hurts them because, for example, Geraldo Boldevine was a wide receiver that mixed heavily in their rotation. He was the one guy they thought could really stretch the field for them. And maybe more importantly, their safety, Cedric Fabus, is a senior. He was experienced. And in his place is a redshirt freshman, Jeremy Ione. He is starting his first college football game in his life. Guys, we'll see how quickly Boise State is able to adjust and adapt without these 3 prominent players.
All right, Holly, thank you. Georgia won the toss. They want the football. That means Brandon Boykin, who about a week ago tweeted to Coach Peterson, "Coach Peterson, please kick it to me." Then he immediately called Mark Richt and said, "Coach, I might have done something wrong. I tweeted that I want him to kick me the football." Mark Richt said, "I'm not mad at you. Just go ahead and back it up."
Yeah. Well, he actually said, "I dare you." He might have told Coach Richt that he said, "Please kick it to me," but daring him to kick it to him is a little bit more putting yourself at risk.
Trevor Harmon, let's see if he kicks it to Brandon Boykin. Chick-fil-A kickoff game in Atlanta is underway. Kind of a knuckleball that Boykin is going to have to watch hit 2 yards in the end zone, and he'll take a knee. So they sort of kicked it to him, and he lost a shoe in the process. So Georgia will go to work at their own 20-yard line. Aaron Murray set to come out as we take a look at our impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Isaiah Crowell, the much hyped and talked about freshman. We'll see a lot of him at tailback tonight for the Dogs. Orson Charles probably will be the favorite target of Aaron Murray. They've been that way since high school. And on the defensive side of things and on special teams, we just mentioned him, Brandon Boykin, not only as a defensive back but a great returner, the all-time kick return leader in Georgia history, in fact. Richard Samuel, the veteran, will start in the backfield behind Aaron Murray. Georgia's first snap of the season. The Dogs from their own 20-yard line. And it's play action.
Yeah, movement though. Tight end move.
Justin Anderson. That's not the way you want to start the year.
79 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
So they back up to their 15-yard line. You work all spring. You lift weights on your own and you work out as a team without the coaches. Then you go through the preseason practices, all that anticipation.
Yeah.
You come up, you got a flag on the first play.
A little over anxious by Big Justin.
Now it's Aaron Murray in the gun.
The key matchup, one of them in this game, the offensive line of Georgia against a very experienced and talented defensive front of Boise State. That's the strength of their team.
It's Samuel on a quick opening draw, and he only got a couple. Samuel, who moved the linebacker last year after starting his career as a Georgia tailback, and he is a load. Almost 245 pounder.
Well, he and Crowell will be a different type of runner for the Georgia offense. Samuel is going to be a north-south, lower that pads and be hard to tackle. Crowell a little more shifty, make you miss kind of guy, whether he runs it or catches it.
Second down at 13. Murray has a quick toss and got it out to Tavares King. And King gets what he can, but it's not much. It's going to bring up third down and long. Of course, A.J. Green, Chris Humphreys are gone to the National Football League. And so the receiving core of Georgia has a little bit of experience there, but certainly not what they had in those two guys.
Our first big test for that receiving core and this new secondary. Holly mentioned the new safety, but they also had to replace 3 other starters coming into this season from last year's secondary. 4
receivers set on third down at 10. And again, movements. Everything moved with the ball. So not a good opening series so far for Georgia.
False start, 79, offense, penalty 5 yards, remaining third down.
Well, Justin Anderson got the penalty, but I think that was really on the center, Ben Jones, because Justin wasn't the only guy that moved, but the ball was not snapped.
So now they're backed up to the 15-yard line again. Georgia was a 40% team on third down conversions last year, but certainly third and 15 is not how you want to open up the first quarter of the year.
And this is where Aaron Murray, as a sophomore, has to be smart with the ball. If it's not there, it's not bad to punt.
Murray fires deep middle, and a man actually. Orson Charles tried to tuck one in there, and Charles couldn't get to it. So punting situation for Drew Butler. Georgia with a couple of penalties, and they'll be kicking deep in their own territory. This is a good guy to have kicking deep in your own territory, though. Won the Ray Guide Award 2 years ago, was a finalist for it last year, and he can really air it out. Averaged almost 45 yards a punt a season ago, but Drew's going to kick this one near his own goal line. Chris Potter is back deep on the other end.
Unusual look outside for Boise State, trying to confuse the punt team of Georgia on this first punt, and it's going to cause a clock violation.
Wow, 3 penalties on Georgia.
Delay the game on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains fourth down.
That's a worse spot for Drew Butler, because he's going to be in his own end zone to kick this one.
Well, Georgia had 2 gunners outside, and Boise State started by looking like they were going to double cover both of the gunners, and then they started jockeying around like they were going to rush somebody from the outside, and it created confusion.
And the guy that's waiting on the other end is a good punt returner. Chris Potter averaged over 13 yards per return last season, and he should get a shot at this unless Drew Butler really blasts one. Potter waits at the 45. Across midfield, and he gets drilled immediately. But Kellen Moore and the Broncos will start their opening drive in Georgia territory. Let's take a look at tonight's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. On the other side for Boise State, Doug Martin. Last year, over 1,200 yards on the ground, and he is a workhorse. Tyler Shoemaker, with the top 2 receivers gone from a year ago, he's going to be a safety valve that I'm sure Kellen Moore will look at. And George Aloka in the secondary are going to be vital for him, missing one of their starting safeties to call the shots in the back end on defense for the Broncos. Kellen Moore and Boise State at the Georgia 49 with their first snap. And Martin is hit in the backfield. He's going to go down to the line of scrimmage. Swarming Georgia defense brings him down there. Alec Ogletree is there, along with Brandon Boykin.
I think how Georgia plays defense on first down will be critical in this ball game, because Kellen Moore, if they win first down and he's allowed to have the whole playbook on second and manageable situations, he'll pick them apart. That was a win for Georgia on the first down.
Kellen Moore on a pistol set here. In the gun with a tailback behind him. He'll give it to Martin. He sidestepped the first man. Not going to get away from the rest, though. Georgia drops him for a loss of 2. And it's Boykin again.
The initial penetration by Jarvis Jones slowed up Martin and stopped his momentum. And that enabled Boykin to get there to make the tackle.
The Broncos a very good team on 3rd down a year ago. But as Todd said, usually they do much better on 1st and 2nd down. They find themselves with 3rd and 11. Georgia comes with an extra man. Moore deep down the middle, and it's knocked down by Boykin. Well, our impact player has been impactful in the opening series on defense for Georgia.
I think Georgia feels like their secondary people are athletic enough to really get up and try to disrupt the routes of the Boise State receivers. Their passing game is built on timing and not getting jammed at the line of scrimmage. And that time, Boykin able to get his hands on the receiver and disrupt the timing and knock the ball away.
Penalty marker down as Elkin comes in to kick.
Substitution infraction on the offense, breaking the huddle with 12 players. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
So both teams a little shaky as far as their penalty markers on their opening offensive series. Brandon Smith is back deep for Georgia, and he is a sensational punt returner in his own right. Average over 14 yards of return last season. As you look behind Brad Elkin. High snap and the rugby style punt. And Chase Smith to the 11-yard line. Got by the first man and picked up about 5 out to the 16. Travis Stanaway made the tackle. That was a good defensive series for Georgia to open things up, courtesy of Brandon Boykin. Dogs on offense when we come back.
Nissan's bottom line sales event has been extended. With better availability than Honda or Toyota, you save. Get an additional $500 holiday bonus cash on popular models like Altima, $179 plus bonus cash. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer today. More cars, bonus cash, more savings. Hurry, and September 5th.
Hey, Wendy, me and the boys, we like our chicken with a little heat.
Well, let's answer that call with a truckload of spicy chicken for the Branch Street Firehouse. We only use tender, whole breast fillets, kicked up with our blend of peppers and spices.
That's a great sandwich.
Got some zing to it, huh?
Our spicy chicken is the perfect balance between flavor and heat.
Got a good kick, huh? You need a good kick.
Try one today, because like these guys, you know when it's real.
Firefighter tested, firefighter approved.
I agree.
Well, I think that'll do it.
What?
Most of this liquid will just evaporate, and the floorboards are just going to absorb everything else, so... Yeah, have a good one.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Earlier tonight, Chick-fil-A proudly donated $50,000 to the scholarship funds of Georgia and Boise State. Steve Robinson, Chief Marketing Officer of Chick-fil-A, presented the checks to President Custer from Boise State and President Adams from the University of Georgia. Chick-fil-A's a long history of promoting education, as they've awarded over $28 million in scholarships to college athletes. 11:49 remaining in the first quarter. You can almost hear the Georgia fans holding their breath in anticipation of this young man. The highly talented Isaiah Crowell is in the lineup for the Dogs for the first time in his college career. They fake it to him, and Murray will roll and throw, and a tough catch in traffic made by Marlon Brown. Good coverage, but Brown, big hands and a big body, was able to snatch that one and pick up some positive yardage.
Yeah, Marlon Brown is one of those guys they really expect to help fill in the gap for the loss of A.J. Green and Chris Durham, as we see Georgia now go to their version of a no huddle.
And Murray in the gun on second down at 6 at the 20. Crowell slips and falls. That happens sometimes. So much for holding your breath in anticipation.
Just actually stepped on Aaron Murray's foot, I think, and that's how he lost his balance.
So he's got that one out of the way.
That's his mulligan for the night, right?
Exactly. It's third down and 8. Second time Georgia's been in a third and long situation after 3 penalties on their opening offensive possession.
So this is where Aaron Murray has to really pay attention to Crowell and keep him informed.
Murray fires incomplete. His receiver had fallen down. It was Orson Charles again.
And trying to go for Orson Charles again. He was expecting Orson to be outside, and he would have been open had he not slipped on his break.
So Drew Butler comes in again.
Well, so far for the Boise State defense, again missing Cedric Fabus, replacing 3 key starters from last year, actually 4 defensive starters. Couple of nice jobs getting them off the field.
3 total series in the game so far, all 3 and outs, 2 by Georgia. Now Butler set to punt again. This time Mitch Burrows awaits on the other end for Boise State. Butler, he hit this one deep. At the 31, Burrows made the first man miss and the second, and he got out near the 39-yard line. Nifty little return after a 51-yard punt. Kellen Moore and the Bronco offense waiting in the wings on the other side. 10:35 first quarter, no score.
Free hot breakfast with fresh waffles. Real value from your friends at Hampton.
Emily's just starting out and on a budget. Like a ramen noodle every night budget. She thought Allstate car insurance was out of her reach until she heard about the value plan. Dollar per dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate.
And you can even pick your payment date for the loan.
You do that?
I do.
Ready, Daddy?
Yes. City Financial is now One Main Financial. Personalized loan solutions that still focus on you.
Nissan's bottom line sales event has been extended. With better availability than Honda or Toyota, you save. Get an additional $500 holiday bonus cash on popular models like Altima, $179 plus bonus cash. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer today. More cars, bonus cash, more savings. Hurry, and September 5th.
Can you tell us how many people have died from this virus?
Sweetheart? In 3 months, it's 1 billion sick. That's where we're heading.
Contagion, rated PG-13, starts September 9th.
Applebee's 2 for $20 is fresher than ever.
Hey, Chris. Hi, Jesse.
Hey.
Ready to order?
Yep, 2 for $20. It's Applebee's freshest 2 for $20 yet, featuring new chicken fettuccine carbonara. Get 1 appetizer and 2 entrees for just $20, only at Applebee's. Now serving half-price appetizers late night.
The real enemy is out there.
Who's with me? X-Men First Class.
The 2011 Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. And Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Yesterday, the Georgia players visited the MLK Center here in Atlanta, established by Coretta Scott King back in the late 60s. The King Center, the official living memorial dedicated to advancing the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Evander Holyfield, our heavyweight champion from Atlanta. Champ told me before the game tonight he's got a fight coming up December 17th, somewhere in Missouri. Don't know who he's fighting. Doug Martin split out as a wide receiver, so it's an empty backfield for Kellen Moore on first down for Boise State. And the throw to the outside, Shoemaker had it in his hands, but he got popped and got dislodged by Jordan Love. So right now, the Georgia secondary doing a great job against the receivers of Boise State.
Yeah, perfect timing by Jordan Love. The ball was not secured right away by Shoemaker, and Love was able to dislodge him from the football. Again, I think this secondary of Georgia feels like they can match up and get up in the face of these receivers and reroute them and jam them and disrupt the timing with Kellen Moore.
Moore, hand off to Martin. Best run of the night so far by either team. Picked up 5. And it'll make third down more manageable. Christian Robinson on the tackle. The Broncos in their special uniforms and helmets as well tonight. In all white for the first time ever.
We talked about they lost Titus Young and Austin Pettis, and they both had 71 catches a year ago for Boise State for Kellen Moore. And on third down, that is where he looked primarily for the football. Where will he go on this 3rd and 5?
Matt Miller in motion to the top of your screen. Here comes the pressure from Georgia, but quickly releasing is Kellen Moore out to Martin, but he's run out of bounds about 3 yards shy of the first down.
Well, we're seeing both defenses react well and make good tackles in space. Now, they've been helped by the offensive penalties, but they've done a nice job of pressuring the quarterback and tackling well in space.
Elkin in for his second punt. But again, it's Brandon Smith back deep. You're wondering about the number ones. Brandon Smith's number 1 on defense. Isaiah Crowell number 1 on offense. They can't be on the field at the same time. And Georgia may have taken a timeout here.
Georgia, that is their first charge.
We'll take a timeout as well. 9:41 remaining first quarter at the Georgia Dome. Scoreless here in Atlanta.
ESPN College Football Primetime, Miami, Maryland, Monday at 8 on ESPN.
Oh, Rudy, you're so nice to me.
Well, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, and you're funny too, that's cute.
Mike, there's nothing funny about it. I'm the new Aaron spokesperson now, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Did you empty my bedpan? Hey.
I'm the man.
Yeah, Mr. Butler's here, come on.
Okay.
You stand right here behind me, the official Aaron spokesperson, handpicked by Mr. Ken Butler.
What a suck up.
Action. Remember, when you want a guaranteed low price on brand name furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers,
you don't need credit. All you need is Aaron's. Are you ready for some football?
It's back to football with a special Monday night doubleheader. Tom Brady leads the explosive Pats against Reggie Bush and the rival Dolphins. Then Darren McFadden and the Raiders clash with Kyle Orton and the Broncos in a mile-high showdown. ESPN's Monday Night Football returns September 12th. Patriots-Dolphins at 7, Raiders-Broncos at 10.
The year 1974. The fashions were loud, the music was groovy, and Earl Ray Tomlin first got elected. After 36 years, what's he done? Tomlin raised taxes on job creators. He spent your money on himself. Tomlin quadrupled his own pay and took trips to vacation destinations on your dime. For 36 years, Earl Ray got his way, you got the bill. Paid for by Republican Governor's Public Policy Committee, not authorized by a candidate or committee.
He takes it all in because he wants to be just like you. He watches everything you do. Maybe he'll turn out just like you. Well, let's hope not. Spit tobacco isn't just a rite of passage for your son. It causes cancer, heart attacks, hypertension, face disfiguration, even death. Save both of your lives. Save face. Stop spit tobacco. Remember, he's watching.
Oh, yeah. The SEC on ESPN. Georgia and Boise State. Kellen Moore on the line during our timeout. I'm sure talking to Brent Pease, the offensive coordinator, and the helmet's coming back on. I don't know, Todd, they're going to go for this thing?
Well, it sure looks like it. That's an offensive group in the huddle, not a punting group.
Here they come on 4th down and a long 2.
It could be a quick kick as well.
Kellen Moore in an empty backfield on 4th down, unless they're trying to draw Georgia off. And now, timeout Boise State.
Timeout. Boise State. That is their first charge timeout of this half.
So a little chess match going on here.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
Well, I was surprised that they lined up to go for it. I mean, that's a punt situation for sure at this point in the game. Neither offense generating anything. I think Chris Peterson was just seeing if he got a specific look that they might be able to get a gimme for the first down. They'd run the play. Otherwise, call timeout and punt the football.
Now the helmet's off, so the punting team will come back out.
You got 2 offenses here that have both run 6 plays and gained 7 yards. So defensive struggle at this point.
Now Brandon Smith will trot back down near his own 15-yard line, awaiting the punt of Elkin. And again, Boise State spreads everything out.
You always have to be alert for a fake punt from Boise State.
Again, the side-winding punt. This one's going to roll down inside the 20. Boise State will down it there, and Georgia will have it back after a 35-yard punt. Well, ESPN wraps up the holiday weekend with an ACC battle Monday night. The Miami Hurricanes and the Terrapins of Maryland. And which new coach, Al Golden or Randy Edsall, can get their first ACC win in their debut with their new teams. College football primetime, part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week on ESPN. 8 o'clock Monday, also available in spectacular 3D. First 2 drives, that's not much, is it?
Yeah. Well, and all 3 of their possessions have started inside their own 20-yard line, so you got to be a little bit careful.
Richard Samuel back at tailback. And he'll get the call, and he only gets a yard, if that. That defensive front of the Broncos, I think it gets not enough attention, and probably overall their defense, because everybody talks about having a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback. This defense is stout.
Well, they are. I mean, look at what they did last year now. They were 2nd in the country in total defense and scoring defense to go with that prolific offense. And that front 4 right now, all 4 of those guys up there, both tackles and both ends, are seniors. They are a veteran, experienced group that has played a lot of big-time football for Boise State, and they're physical.
2nd down and 9. Brandon Boykin in the lineup offensively, and here he comes to the corner, and Boykin into the secondary. This might be it. Goodbye, Brandon Boykin. Touchdown. For the score. He's already been a shining star on defense, and now he just lit up the Georgia crowd at the Dome with an 80-yard touchdown run. Blair Walsh for the extra point. 7-0 Georgia. We knew we'd see him on offense, Todd, and boy, did he explode on the scene.
Well, they've had trouble running inside against this physical Boise front, so let's run outside. And Bruce Figgins, who was a tight end last year, moved into fullback, and watch him lead this play and seal the corner for Boykin. It just takes one block. He gets a block on the safety, Iloka, and then Boykin uses that open field running ability to turn it into a touchdown.
Georgia's all-time kick return leader, and now the leader of the ground game of the Dogs. 80 yards for the score. Talk about a game-changing player. Wow.
That was really a good call by Mike Bobo, because it's been tough sledding trying to run inside against this physical front. So let's get the ball into a playmaker's hand and get him on the edge. And if we get one block, which they got from Figgins, it might be a big play.
So now Blair Walsh will tee it up to kick it away to Mitch Burrows and Doug Martin. Just a two-play Georgia drive, 81 yards covered, 52 seconds of possession time. Deep kick, 2 yards deep, and thinking twice about it, Burrows will take a knee. Let's check in first time tonight with an update. Here's Reese Davis. Reese.
Hello, Brad. All over the place. Give you the primetime pulse on ESPN2. And under caution right now, Kyle Busch is leading the nationwide race. Boise native Brian Scott running in the top 10, by the way. And on ABC right now, Oregon's lining up to try to tie LSU at 3. Bayou Bengals getting on the board first. And now they've tied it at 3. And there's Brian Scott's car, the Boise State paint job. Kellen Moore's number was just coincidentally Scott's number all the time. See if Kellen can hit the gas for the Boise offense now.
Boise State folks we had dinner with last night, pretty proud of that car, and it's showing up pretty well, isn't it, at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 7-0 Georgia. Broncos back on offense. Kellen Moore, play action. Fires, completes to his tight end, Gabe Linehan, and a first down, Boise State.
Good protection by that Boise offensive line, and when Kellen Moore can set his feet and throw on rhythm again, he's a 70% or better completion guy. Very, very accurate with the football. Best first down play that Boise's had by far.
Yep. Again on the roll off the play fake and complete again. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, after Brandon Boykin of Georgia had that long touchdown run, he came to the sideline, and all his teammates and buddies came up and were slapping him on the back saying, "You said you were going to do it, man. You said, and you did." Now, it wasn't kicking to him about the tweet that he had sent to Coach Peterson, but the guys love it that he backed it up. The only problem, he was still trying to catch his breath and get some water, and they're like, "Hey, quick, man, you're out on defense." He's still a little bit winded.
He's had a great first quarter on both sides of the ball. Second down and 7. Martin and Harper both in the backfield for the first time tonight for Boise State. It'll be the second man through. Martin, and tough run inside out to the 40. It's going to bring up third down and 3.
You know, Holly was talking about Boykin, and he is one of those guys, and he toyed with the idea of going to the NFL, and probably could have been a pretty decent draft pick with all his skill set. But he decided to come back, and he would be the first one to tell you now, he got better by coming back. He's a much better football player all around at this point than he was last year, and just shows you his versatility on both sides of the ball.
One of the captains tonight, the senior out of Fayetteville, Georgia. Third down and 3. Moore, some pressure coming this time. Fires high and incomplete. Intended for Burrows.
Well, there was tremendous pressure right up on the inside, which is where you want to pressure Kellen Moore. Not only did they get in his face and disrupt the rhythm, but they're going to hit him right in the mouth also. It's a little twist inside, and he is hit by Cornelius Washington right up underneath the chin, and that sticks with a guy. Yeah, that
you remember that for a while.
Yep, you sure do.
So we saw number 2 score the last time Georgia had it. Now number 1, Brandon Smith, awaiting the Brad Elkin punt. Again, for the most part, Elkin will take a few steps to his right in a rugby-style punt, although their formation's a little tighter this time. He's barely got that one away, actually. Brandon Smith will take a fair catch back near the 12-yard line. Mark Richten, his 11th season, 9 straight bowl games. He's 9-1 in openers for Georgia. We talk about Vince Dooley, the all-time winningest coach in Georgia history, including a national championship 31 years ago. Wally Butts, Harry Mayer, Georgia coaches with 10 or more seasons at the job. And of course, everybody talks about Mark being on the hot seat, a 6-7 campaign last year. And when we talk to him and when we talk to the other coaches, as Mike Bobo said, he's got a little bit more fire in his belly, a little edge to him this year.
There's definitely a different edge to Mark. I've known him for a long time, and I have great respect for him as a man and as a coach, but he's got a little edge to him this year.
Play action. Murray loads and fires deep. Got a man out there, and it's broken up at the 35 by Jarrell Devins. Tavares King was out there. It'll be second down at 10.
This is well played by Jarrell Gavins. He's taking the place of Brandon Thompson, who was a 3-year starter at that field corner position, and that position gets left out on an island quite a bit in this defense.
Georgia in the hurry up again. Isaiah Crowell back in as the I-back. He'll get the call, the freshman. And this time he got almost 2 after slipping out his first carry. So Georgia hasn't established any ground game unless you talk about Brandon Boykin. That was 80 yards worth of ground game.
That's the right call at the right time by Mike Bobo, but here they are again in another 3rd and long situation. And again, this front is physical. They led the nation in sacks last year, getting after the quarterback with 49.
3 receivers, including Aaron White, the tight end, who's in the slot on the left side. Malcolm Mitchell down to the bottom of your screen. Those are the guys that Aaron Murray will be looking for. Here comes Heath, though, and down he goes, and there's flags down as well. Boy, that pocket just collapsed, what little pocket there was. Shane McClellan and Chase Baker, they're a couple veterans up on that front wall, and they really brought the heat on Aaron Murray. Tom Ritter's our referee.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So Georgia will have to kick their 3rd 3 and out already in the first quarter.
Now you get to 3rd and long against this defense that loves to rush the passer, and they can really pin their ears back and go after the quarterback, and that's exactly what they did.
Drew Butler, there's his numbers. I mentioned the Guy Award winner 2 years ago, a finalist last year. He's already got a 51-yarder in this first quarter tonight. Chris Potter is back deep for Boise State. Low snap. Butler handles it. Kicks it to the 41, and Potter is hit immediately. Great job on special teams by Derek Owens. And let's check in again with Reese Davis.
Hey Brad, Taco Bell studio update. South Carolina is having all kind of problems with East Carolina and Charlotte. Dominic Davis of the Pirates finding Jake Womack 24-14 at the half. They jumped on top 14-0. Davis, the former Boston College quarterback, now in his 2nd year at ECU, already with 3 touchdowns.
Heard some people talking today. Would East Carolina in that South Carolina matchup with the Gamecocks be looking ahead to Georgia next week? Man, you can't look ahead in the first week of the season. It's South Carolina and Georgia next Saturday afternoon in Athens. Kellen Moore. Martin picks up the blitz. Moore steps up in the pocket and delivers completion for the first down to Mitch Burrows.
You know, when you look at Kellen Moore, he's not the most athletic guy, but he's athletic enough to move in the pocket. Just move enough to find a window to throw the football.
And now the Broncos go no huddle. And it's Martin on the left side. Broke a couple tackles. He's still on his feet before he's knocked out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Nice run by Doug Martin, the senior out of Stockton, California.
So you just have to keep feeding him the football. Even though he hasn't had a lot of big plays yet, that's his 5th touch of the game so far in the first quarter. And they want to get him the ball 20 to 25 times tonight.
They'll get it another time here. Another good run. Pickup of 9. Down to the 30. Martin, who averaged 6.3 a carry last year.
One of the reasons Boise may be going to the hurry up is to try to put some fatigue on this defensive front, particularly right in the middle with Kwame Geathers. He's 6'6", 350 pounds, playing that nose tackle. And that's an all-day job for Thomas Byrd, their center, who's only 5'11", about 280.
Sean Williams, starting safety for Georgia, down. He's one of the guys that ran into Doug Martin on the end of that run.
A little booing by the Boise section, thinking that was to try to slow down this hurry-up offense. Shades of Cal and Oregon last year.
That's right. So Williams comes out. Meanwhile, Boise State's got a first down at the 30-yard line.
Good situation for play-action pass right here. Now they've got some momentum. They've moved the ball down the field.
Two tight ends in. Burrows comes over to join the trio on the left side of Kellen Moore. A little bit of a play fake and fires down the middle, and what a strike that was to Tyler Shoemaker. Diving catch, and now the Broncos got something moving. A 20-yard pickup, and we've got an injured Bronco down, the offensive lineman.
Well, it was out of a bunch set, 3 receivers to the same side, and Shoemaker comes into the post. And again, that accuracy of putting the football where it needs to be, right in the middle of 3 Georgia defenders, but right where Shoemaker could make the catch.
Joe Kellogg, the left guard, got tangled up in some traffic, trying to throw his block, and he's holding in the area of his left knee.
Joe Kellogg has had a great camp for Boise State. They felt that he had really come on and settled into that left guard position.
He was sort of engaged with the guy that he was blocking, and then one of the Georgia players sort of rolled up on him as they were trying to get pressure in the pocket. So they work on the left knee of the junior out of Scottsdale, Arizona. And he'll come off, and Spencer Gerke will have to come in to take his spot. Meanwhile, it's right at the 10-yard line. So it's first and goal for the Broncos, trying to tie things up here.
I would say this is Doug Martin time again right here. In fact, he's the quarterback.
Yep, he's in the wild Bronco set, if you will. Fakes the handoff to Burrows, and he'll lose a couple. Christian Robinson, nice penetration for Georgia.
Christian Robinson is the quarterback of this defense. When we talked to Mark Richt, you know, where can you least afford an injury? He said inside linebacker, and particularly that guy, because he is our quarterback, makes all the calls, gets everybody lined up.
Kellen Moore back in, a bunch set of 3 wideouts to his right, and Martin will flush out of that backfield as well. Second down and goal. Moore, and Nate Potter, I think, came out of his stance a little bit early, so the Broncos are making it hard on themselves right here.
False start, 73 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Well, we mentioned Titus Young and Austin Pettis, and for Kellen Moore last year, when he got in the red zone, he looked for Austin Pettis, and you can see 27 receptions, 22 touchdowns the last 2 years. That combination, that was his go-to guy in the red zone.
And you wonder who it'll be now. The biggest target is probably Kyle Efaw, his tight end. Second down and goal, but it's back at the 17-yard line. Moore waits and fires, and he's got his man, and it's a touchdown to Matt Miller. Nice throw and a 17-yard scoring toss. And that's the 100th touchdown pass of Kellen Moore's brilliant career. Dan Goodale in for the point after. New kicker this year for Boise State. And he's got his first extra point up and good. Good-looking drive by the Broncos.
Mitch Burrows is going to clear out to the outside. Matt Miller's going to sneak in right behind. And again, the accuracy of Kellen Moore. Touchdown, Broncos.
Oh, hey, buddy. Oh, yeah. Mike, I got a little constructive criticism for you. There's one thing I don't like about your commercials.
This is gonna be good.
Everybody's always showing you their underwear. It's not realistic. Now, me, I just got these. Comfort Flex waistband. Doesn't pinch, doesn't bind, nothing, man. I can get so low in these. Look at this. Look at this movement. I'm like a ballerina in these things. If I could take you, I bet, in these. I bet I could take you and...
The Comfort Flex waistband. Won't pinch, won't bind. New from Hanes.
Come on. You boys call yourself fans?
The game wasn't even close.
All of them? Every single one?
Well, there's only one game on cable right now.
You jokers need to wake up. It's on. Only DirecTV gives you every minute of every game, every Sunday. A little enthusiasm, man. Nothing?
Now NFL Sunday Ticket is included at no extra charge. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
3:02 remaining in the first quarter as Boise State went 58 yards in 6 plays to tie it up at 7.
You know, Matt Miller's an interesting story. I mean, this is the first real football game he's played in since the Montana State High School Championship game in 2009. He was a versatile guy coming into Boise State. He tore his Achilles last summer, sat out the whole season with a red shirt, didn't go through spring. Kellen Moore told me on Tuesday when I was out there, he just started throwing to him 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
But he's very, very talented, and obviously Kellen Moore gave him a good ball to catch.
So now it's Trevor Harmon to kick off. Brandon Boykin, Mr. Excitement already in this first quarter, both on defense and offense. Back deep. This time he's going to get a shot at it. Boykin from the 7. And got across the 20, and not much more out to about the 22-yard line. 16-yard return. So 2:55 remaining in the first quarter, and now we got things moving a little bit. Those first couple series was nothing but sputter on both sides.
A little nerves, a little over anxious, you know, but now they've settled in. And like Kellen Moore, 6 different completions to 6 different guys, so he's spreading the football around. Now it's up to Aaron Murray, I think, to get going in his passing game. They got the score on a trick play. I expect him to look for Orson Charles in this drive, try to get the big tight end in the middle of the field.
Aaron Murray, who had over 3,000 yards in a sensational redshirt freshman season last year, but so far a little rocky here in the first quarter. Isaiah Crowell. This time he keeps his balance, puts his hand down, and takes a tackler or 2 with him. Picked up 5. That's his best carry tonight.
Pretty good hard-nosed run, too. I mean, you think he's just going to be a flash and dash kind of guy, but he can run with power. 215 pounds, 5'11", built kind of low to the ground.
Here he comes again. Crowell's got a first down run. Picked up about 6 more. The helmet pops off, and now he's got the feel of college football. After coming out of Carver Columbus, sensational career there. They could have used him last night. Buford put it on him in high school football last night. I guess when you lose a guy like that, it doesn't help your cause. 3 straight carries. This time he runs into traffic, falls forward for a yard or so. Tyrone Crawford made the stop as we're down here 2 minutes in the first quarter.
And part of this hurry-up offense by Georgia, maybe the same philosophy, the same thinking as Boise State. Try to tire out and put a little fatigue into this defensive front of Boise State.
Georgia looks to the sideline. They've got all 3 of their receivers to Aaron Murray's left. 2nd down and 9. Draw play to Crowell. Straight ahead, a yard. That's it. Chase Baker, part of that defensive front. He's had a good first quarter.
Well, he's the nose tackle. 6'1", close to 300 pounds, and he's got to just hold the point. You know, his job is to just eat up blocks and hold the point, and that's exactly what he did on that play.
Georgia again without a huddle. Samuel back in, flanking Aaron Murray. He's got 4 receivers on a 3rd down and 8. Georgia's found themselves with a lot of 3rd and longs here in the opening 14 minutes.
Boise State showing a three-man line, trying to give confusion to the blocking.
Murray fires the out. Brown makes the catch. He broke a tackle, and he's got a first down, I think. That was great second effort by Marlon Brown, 6'5", 222-pounder. They knocked him to the sideline, but he kept his balance and got a first down.
Yeah, there was no way he was going to get the first down if he goes down right there. Hunter White, the nickelback, was not able to get him on the ground. And Marlon Brown uses that big body to get a critical first down for the Bulldogs.
They're so hoping that he becomes the next A.J. Green. They've been waiting on him. Only 13 catches in his first couple of seasons after being a highly recruited wide receiver. Samuel blasts the first would-be tackler, but then he's taken down. J.C. Percy's the first to hit him. And then Mike Atkinson finally put him on the turf.
Now, this Boise State team has 25 seniors this year, and 18 of those seniors are fifth-year guys. So they are mature, grown men who have won a lot of football games and played in some big ball games. So they are very comfortable in this atmosphere right now.
Murray again will backpedal into the shotgun. 7th play of the Georgia drive, but they're going to have to wait until the second quarter begins. It's actually a penalty marker on the play on the field. End of one. Tie game. Broncos 7, Dogs 7.
It's the White Sox and the Tigers, Sunday night at 8 on ESPN2.
Oh, Rudy, you're so nice to me.
Well, no more. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh, and you're funny, too. That's cute.
Mike, there's nothing funny about it. I'm the new Aaron spokesperson now, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Did you empty my bedpan? Hey.
I'm the man.
Yeah, Mr. Butler's here. Come on.
Okay.
You stand right here behind me, the official Aaron spokesperson, handpicked by Mr. Ken Butler.
What a suck-up.
Action. Remember, when you want a guaranteed low price on brand name furniture, electronics, appliances, and computers,
You don't need credit. All you need is Aaron's.
Nissan's bottom line sales event has been extended. With better availability than Honda or Toyota, you save. Get an additional $500 holiday bonus cash on popular models like Altima, $179 plus bonus cash. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer today. More cars, bonus cash, more savings. Hurry, and September 5th.
There goes Dwayne's car. Oh, man. There goes Dwayne's house. And there goes Dwayne.
Man, that thing does not like Dwayne.
State Farm's got you covered.
Nice landing.
It was.
Get to a better state.
Are we doing okay here?
Absolutely.
And what can I get for you? I'll have one of those.
We'll be here if you get off early.
Is he working the late shift again?
Yep.
Hey, you made it. Power outage. That's the third one this week.
Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings Beer Sports.
Oh, it's my boss.
Set to start the second quarter at the Georgia Dome. Tie game, Boise State and Georgia at 7 apiece. Brad Nessler, Tom Blackledge, Holly Rowe here in front of a sellout crowd. Let's check in with Holly right now.
Bad news for the Georgia defense. Their top inside linebacker, Alec Ogletree, is out right now with a right foot injury. He's been on the examination table. Their athletic trainer, Ron Corson, has been looking at him. They're telling me he's out for now. His body language does not look positive. When we talked to Mark Richt yesterday, he told us the one position they could not afford an injury, inside linebacker. That's what he plays. His replacement is a true freshman, Armando Herrera.
All right, Holly. So Big Tree, as they call him, may not be back tonight. Meanwhile, the Georgia offense out there to start the second quarter with a second down at 10. Murray in the shotgun. Aaron loads it. Goes, completes. Down to Orson Charles, and he hooks up with his tight end for 19 and a first down.
It was just a matter of time before he was going to find Orson Charles. He tried to throw to him twice in the first quarter, and Charles fell down both times. This time he keeps his footing and shows the soft hands on the outside route.
Such a matchup problem, Ledge, for a lot of teams.
Well, he's big, so he's too big for a defensive back, and he's very fast. He gets down the field quickly, so he's too fast for most linebackers.
Georgia again, they haven't huddled much tonight so far here in this first half. Murray, trouble this time, the pressure coming, and he broke free. Cuts outside. Well, he made something out of it. Got back to the line of scrimmage anyway. Showing some nice footwork. Let's check in with Reese Davis quickly.
All right, Brad, we'll get you up to date. Sports Center right now presented by Discover. LSU and Oregon. LSU leads Oregon by 3. Remember, Cliff Harris is suspended for the game. Kenyon Barner returning punts. He's an excellent punt returner, but he's stripped. Tyrann Mathieu scores the touchdown for that. Game is on ABC right now.
All right, Reese, thanks. Here at second down at 10. Georgia at the Boise State 35-yard line. Crowell in the backfield will get the call. Isaiah Crowell cuts outside. Nice moves. And an 8-yard pickup for the freshman. Well, so many players have been trying to take this guy's spot from 31 years ago when he splashed on the scene running over Bill Bates in the opener against Tennessee en route to a Heisman Trophy career. He still looks like he could put the pads on a play right now. I know he can do the MMA thing. I've seen that. Samuel back in there now as Murray will hold up, look to the sideline. Third down and almost 2. We're going to be talking to Herschel Walker a little bit later in the game. Samuel, the big back, needed almost 2 and he didn't even get 1, I don't think. Chase Baker made this stop, and now it brings up 4th down and a yard. One of the best kickers in the country is on the Georgia sideline. Or on 4th and 1, as Mark Richt saying, let's go ahead and try this.
Well, he's got one of the biggest offensive lines in the country, certainly in the SEC. And I think he wants to see what they're made of right here on 4th and 1.
Georgia last year 8 out of 15. 329 pounds. That's more like a Wisconsin front wall. It's the biggest offensive line Georgia's ever had. 4th down and a yard. Samuel and Ogletree in the backfield. Samuel hit in the backfield, and he is not going to make it.
They didn't block the end man on the line. Shea McClellan came unblocked on the edge. And it was a deep handoff, so there was no way to just not block him because the ball was handed back 6 yards off the line of scrimmage. Watch McClellan right here. Nobody's going to block him. Orson Charles is going to go right by him. That's a mistake by the Georgia short yardage offense.
McClellan, a first-team all-conference performer in the Western Athletic Conference last year. And a big, big hit by number 92 is giving it back to the Broncos offense. Now the fans trying to warm up that Georgia defense. It's played very well here in the first half. Moore in the pistol set to Martin straight up the middle. And Martin, nice run. Sulik made the tackle. And the Broncos go no huddle. Remember, they went 58 yards for a touchdown the last time they had it. Moore, draw play, quick opener to Martin. This time Georgia's waiting for him, and he only got about a yard. D'Angelo Tyson, the defensive end, sliced down to make the stop, and it brings up 3rd down.
What has been given Georgia a little bit of problem in their pass defense. Now, this may not be a throw on 3rd and short, but the bunch formations that Boise State has used has made it more difficult for Georgia's corners to jam the receivers and reroute them.
Georgia chains up personnel. They run out Herrera at linebacker. Boise has a guy come out. They replace him in the lineup on a 3rd down. A lot of confusion right now. I think we're going to have a timeout.
Call timeout.
Nope.
He was down. He touched his knee.
He touched his knee.
You know, what happened was the center, Thomas Byrd, outthought himself. He saw the play clock and knew they had to snap the ball, and he snapped it before Kellen Moore was ready. And I think this is going to be a penalty.
On the center, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
You talk about changing the complexion of the next play.
Thomas Byrd is a very smart. Look at him. He's looking up at the clock. See, he knows they've got to snap the ball, but nobody was ready, especially not his quarterback, Kellen Moore.
So that backs it up to the 29, and now it's 3rd and 7. As I said, that changes the play in a major way. Now it is a passing situation for sure.
I said Thomas Byrd. He wasn't in. That was the backup center, Matt Paradis.
Kellen Moore flares it out in the flat and immediately hit. Linehan got leveled by Brandon Smith. So now Boise State will have to give it up.
Well, you mentioned it, partner, how costly that penalty and how it changes the complexion. 3rd and short to 3rd and about 7, and a completion, but well short of the first down.
Well, the man that made the tackle will get a breather on punt return duties as they bring out Malcolm Mitchell. Brandon Smith played a lot of snaps and return punts, but after that last hit, they'll go with Mitchell on the punt from Elkin this time. This time he hits a knuckleball that Mitchell's going to try to scoop up. Luckily, he got back on top of it.
You know, they've done an excellent job with this rugby punting because it reduces the field to 1/4 of the field, and it's perfect placement by the Boise punter.
We'll talk to Herschel Walker when we come back to the Dome in a minute.
It's been a good year for the Chevy Silverado, and not because of the awards or the accolades. No, it was good because you told us so. The Chevy Model Year Wrap-Up. Get in on our greatest model year yet. Just announced, celebrate Labor Day with an additional $500 bonus cash. With all other offers, including the All-Star Edition discount, that's a total value of $6,500. Our greatest model year yet is wrapping up.
So your 2:30 canceled?
Are you forgetting something? My breakfast. Get me something delicious, something wholesome.
Okay. Okay, I got some tasty choices. Fruit and maple oatmeal, an egg McMuffin, fruit and yogurt parfait, fruit and walnuts, and they're each 300 calories or less.
Get out of here. Good job.
The simple joy of a delicious breakfast.
She's in a really good mood.
You don't always have to understand something to respect it. This is Jeremiah Weed.
Toyota's nationwide clearance event is on. Get the summer's best selection and the year's biggest deals on trucks like Tacoma, the best-selling compact pickup in America, or Tundra, named the 2011 Best Overall Value of the Year. And now you can get a new 2011 Tundra with 0% financing plus $500 bonus cash. And every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a complimentary maintenance plan with roadside assistance. Toyota's nationwide clearance event ends soon. Hurry in today before time runs out.
Almost there. Just 5 more minutes. Almost home.
Statistics show that over 70% of auto fatalities occur close to home on rural roads.
Cops.
That's why law enforcement is stepping up rural patrols and cracking down on impaired driving. If you are over the limit, you are under arrest because drinking and driving don't mix. Remember, over the limit, under arrest. This message brought to you by the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
05-2308.
He's a freak of nature. Somebody like him comes around once every 50, 60 years.
I wish they would see the real person in me, and one day they would know I'm not here for the show. Who I am, what I do, is only the reaction I get from you. That they cannot see, because all they see is the outside of me.
SEC Storage, a new series from the creators of 30 for 30. The first film tells the story of Herschel Walker and his Heisman Trophy career at the University of Georgia. Herschel debuts Wednesday at 8 o'clock on ESPNU. And what a sensational career. Only 3 seasons, but almost 5,300 yards and a Heisman Trophy in '82. A 1,600-yard plus season as a freshman en route to Georgia's 1980 national championship. Georgia's putting themselves in a tough spot. Their average starting position, their own 18-yard line. Right now, just outside the 15. Aaron Murray rolls and fires high, intended for Tavares King. Let's check in with Holly and Herschel.
Well, Herschel Walker here on the sidelines, and he was just telling me this is a team that perhaps you're the most close to than you've been with any team since you left Georgia. What is the bond you have with this particular group?
Well, this group here, I had an opportunity during the offseason to go in right when they were getting ready to come to camp and just go do a workout with them, you know, to be out and hang out with the guys, to get to know them a little bit and really speak to them and let them know that, you know, no matter what happened, I'm behind them, that this is still Georgia. You guys got a reputation here. So stay with it, believe in each other, love each other, and play.
You set such a high standard, 1,600 yards rushing as a freshman, a national championship, that Coach Rick said it's a challenge for any tailback who comes in because they want to compare him to you. What have you said to this new kid, Isaiah Crowell, to help him manage expectations?
Well, what I told Isaiah to be himself. One thing about it is I was Herschel Walker. That's all I can be. That's all I am going to be. You be Isaiah. You go out and play. This is your team. You know, you got to go out and you control your team. Don't worry about what people say. What worry about is what happened out on the field. What you need to worry about is what your teammates feel about you, and that's what's going to happen.
You've got a documentary coming out next week, and I heard something that you wrote that said you wish people could see you, not for what's on the outside, but what's on the inside. What do you hope people take away from this film?
Well, what I want them to take away is that you can go through a lot of tough times, but then the Lord Jesus Christ is always there to lift you up and keep your head up. I say when you look up, you're going to go up. You know, you can't continue to look at all the junk that's going on in your life. Sometimes you got to realize that there's a lot of good things there. This is a beautiful country that you can just go, keep going. Don't give up, keep going. You know, it's not a rocket movie, but I do believe in rocket, that you can fight out of it. You just got to be willing to do it.
And last but not least, big night for you. You've got your little boy on the sideline for his first University of Georgia game. What's that like as a dad to carry on the legacy?
Well, I'm very proud to have him here. I tell you what, he is absolutely like my pride and joy. You know, I see him with the red and black on. He's my pride and joy. And I say, whenever I can be a dad and show him that he can learn from this here. This is a great team. I wanted him to go to Georgia. He's a little bit too young, but this is my pride and joy right here.
Thanks so much. His legacy continues, loving Georgia football.
All right, Herschel. Unfortunately, there'll probably never be another Herschel Walker. And while Georgia's had some excellent backs, you go through the list: Tim Worley and Rodney Hampton, Garrison Hurst, Robert Edwards, Terrell Davis, so they would have let him play while he was here. No Sean Moreno. I mean, there's not some bad backs that have played here since Herschel, but I'm afraid there's only going to be one number 34, and there'll never be a number 34 because he's one of the 4 jerseys that are retired at the University of Georgia belonging to Herschel Walker. We look forward to that movie coming up on ESPNU this week at 8 o'clock. Broncos have it back after Georgia had to punt. Here's a slip screen back to Matt Miller, who's got the touchdown tonight for Boise State. He's got 9 more yards out to midfield.
You know, Brad, the feel of this game in the first half has been that the defensive line of Boise State has outplayed the offensive line of Georgia. And the field position edge has clearly been with Boise State. It just seems like when Kellen Moore has gotten the ball, they have had outstanding field position for the whole first half. Now, they only have 7 points to show for it, which is a credit to the Georgia defense. But the key difference, I think, has been, I think Georgia expected that they would be able to handle the defensive front of Boise State with that big offensive line a little better than they're doing. And it's creating all kind of problems for Aaron Murray and the Bulldog offense.
I think this is just a cramp situation. We certainly hope so for Brandon Boykin, who's been sensational in this game defensively and with an 80-yard touchdown run. He's kind of down there at the 47-yard line. Looked like he was watching TV, just sort of stretched out, waiting for the trainers to make an appearance. And they can ill afford to lose an impact player of his caliber. He's one of our impact players, and he certainly made that impact known in the first half tonight. So, although we are not outside, thank goodness, where it's been in the 90s every day in Atlanta since about May 16th. We're in the climate control of the Georgia Dome, but Still, he's saying, I need some water right now, or I need some Gatorade.
And for however many plays he's out, let's see if Kellen Moore and Brent Peace, the offensive coordinator, try to attack who comes in the game. And the new guy in is a freshman, Damian Swan, number 5. A very talented young guy, but a true freshman out of right here in Atlanta.
Kellen Moore's hit his last 5 passes, too. So he's warming up. In the pistol set with Martin behind him. And Moore, plenty of time, throws the out for the first down, and then some. Down the sideline as he falls. And the big tight end rumbles down for a first down inside the Georgia 35.
Again, credit that offensive line, good protection. When Kellen Moore has time to set his feet and read and go through his progressions, he's not going to miss. I mean, he just does not miss very often with the football. If you can't get pressure on him and make him uncomfortable, he's going to make you uncomfortable.
With the #1 quarterback rating in the country last year, in kind of a complicated system, but 182.63, just about as high as it goes. And there's what he's done so far tonight. Martin spins his way inside the 30 to the 29. Holly.
Well, guys, the good news is Boykin continues to move along the sideline. It looks like he's trying to shake off what affected him in that last play. But they are examining their left guard, their starter, Canarius Gates. He's got a left leg injury, a high ankle on the outside is what they're examining right now.
You know, he got rolled up on that 3rd down play before the Georgia punt when Holly was talking to Herschel. Grant Hedrick in there at quarterback now. This is a little different look for Boise State. Gives it off to DJ Harper. That's Harper's first carry. No gain, though.
Grant Hedrick is a very athletic guy. He's a runner. I watched him in practice on Tuesday. They ran some plays where he carried the football. He didn't on that time, but that was a read play. And the read told him to give it to the back and not keep it.
That's just what he told the coach, and the coach agreed. 3rd down. Big 3rd and 7, actually. We've got less than 6 minutes to go. Fans are getting restless here after having a 7-0 lead. The majority clad in Bulldog red and black, hoping their defense can make a play against Kellen Moore. They're going to try to bring some heat, it looks, off the side. Moore fires deep, intercepted, and it's Brandon Smith. First mistake of the night for Kellen Moore. The only way you can force him to throw an interception is to get some pressure on him, and they did, Todd.
Well, and Kellen Moore made a bad read. He knew pressure was coming. He thought the pressure would equal man coverage, but it was zone coverage behind the pressure, and he threw right into a zone, and it came away with an interception.
For breakfast, try our spicy chicken biscuit.
It's been a good year for the Chevy Silverado, and not because of the awards or the accolades. No, it was good because you told us so. The Chevy Model Year Wrap-Up. Get in on our greatest model year yet. Just announced, celebrate Labor Day with an additional $500 bonus cash. With all other offers, including the All-Star Edition discount, that's a total value of $6,500. Our greatest model year yet is wrapping up.
Boy, I'm glad we got Aflac, huh?
Aflac?
Oh, I've just got major medical.
Major medical.
But helps pay the doctors.
Pays the doctors, boy. Huh?
Oh, yeah? What about your family? We added Aflac, so we get cash. It's like our safety net. To help with the mortgage or whatever we need. So my family doesn't feel the pain, too.
Help protect your family at Aflac.com.
Thanks to the Venture Card from Capital One, we get double miles on every purchase. So me and the boys earned a trip to DC twice as fast.
Oh, hi. We get double miles every time we use our card.
And since double miles add up fast, one more chariot, please.
We can bring the whole gang.
I cannot tell a lie. He did it.
run.
It's hard to beat double miles. Read my lips. No new access.
Get the Venture Card from Capital One and earn double miles on every purchase every day. Go to CapitalOne.com.
What's in your wallet? So you're a Democrat, right?
The 2011 Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. And Chevrolet and their award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
Boise State got about 7,500 tickets to this game. Those folks clad in blue. The Georgia Bulldogs have got the ball back. Their pro-dog crowd asked for a play from the defense, and they got one from Brandon Smith on the interception. Now it's Isaiah Crowell on the carry out to the 23-yard line to pick up a 5.
Well, Georgia's going to bring pressure from right here, and Kellen Moore is going to read man-to-man. But watch Brandon Smith. When this ball is thrown, his eyes are on the quarterback, and as soon as he sees him load up to go downfield, he leaves his coverage responsibility underneath and goes for the interception.
Georgia with a second down at 5. Draw play to Crowell. Broke the first tackle, not the second, however. Nice play by George Iloka, one of our impact players.
I think Isaiah needs a new chin strap. That's the second time his lid's come off.
Yeah. Either that or a tighter helmet. Last year, in his senior season at Carver Columbus, 1,700 yards and 18 touchdowns. Now he's in the big leagues. He's done a pretty good job after a couple of early missteps on his first couple of carries. 3rd down and 3. Georgia with just under 4.5 minutes left in the quarter would like to keep this thing going, maybe get some more points before halftime. Murray fires on the sideline, and it is intercepted, picked off by Jarrell Gevins. So both quarterbacks make a mistake. Gavins gets it right back with good field position for the Broncos, and now they'll have plenty of time to try to make something happen before halftime.
One of the things you worry about with a freshman back is pass protection. He whiffed on the block, and that caused Aaron Murray to make a bad throw.
Linens and duvet washed fresh for every guest. Real value from your friends at Hampton.
Welcome to Idaho, where they grow America's favorite potatoes.
Everyone knows Idaho potatoes taste great, but did you know they're good for you too? They're high in vitamins and potassium. And Idaho potatoes are now certified to carry the heart check mark from the American Heart Association for foods low in saturated fat and cholesterol.
So they're good for my family and for yours. Heart Smart Idaho potatoes. Always look for the Grown in Idaho seal.
In 1966, a top-secret unit was formed.
It's good.
Their assignment? Hunt down and capture Nazi war criminals.
The brave thing you're doing.
I'm terrified.
Their story continues to this day. Critics are raving. The Debt is a taut, pulse-pounding,
finish it,
exhilarating thriller. Helen Mirren is superb.
And you would have to pay.
The Debt. Rated R. Now playing.
Introducing our largest LCD TV, the new 70-inch class from Sharp, with 62% more screen area than a 55-inch TV.
Humongous!
Big is too small a word for it. Aquas Quatron from Sharp.
We didn't just add guacamole, Swiss, and bacon to a burger. We added it to a Whopper. The California Whopper and California Whopper Junior sandwiches. Enjoy one now, only at Burger King.
ESPN College Football Primetime, Miami, Maryland, Monday at 8 on ESPN.
7-7 Georgia and Boise State. Isaiah Crowell's behind the coach there on the sideline. One of the hardest things for a lot of freshman tailbacks is pass protection.
Yeah, and that's the problem here, because You know, not many five-star high school recruits are used to protecting the passer, and he just went to the ground, and Aaron Murray was not able to step into that throw, and it was an underthrow, and that resulted in an interception.
And Jarrell Gabbins couldn't have played it any better with the interception at the 49-yard line. Here's Martin, and he's going to get swarmed under by the Dogs. A loss of a couple as we check in with Reese.
All right, Brad, check in right now in South Carolina. They're roaring back once down 24-14 as they are here to East Carolina. Ace Sanders hauls in one from Steven Garcia to bring the Gamecocks within 3. And then Garcia with his second touchdown run of the night. Remember, he didn't start the game. Steve Spurrier going to Connor Shaw. Gamecocks just scored again seconds ago. 35-24, still early in the third.
All right, Reese, keep us updated. 7-7 here with 3.5 in the half. Kellen Moore, empty backfield. Lobs one across the middle to Efau. He's got another first down. The tight end to the 40-yard line. A pickup of 12, and the Broncos have got something working here following the interception.
Yeah, nice job by Kellen Moore recognizing the matchup. Efau working on a linebacker and got enough separation, and that's an easy throw for Kellen Moore.
Plenty of time. Boise State with 2 of its timeouts remaining. A touchdown pass and an interception tonight so far for number 11. The touchdown pass, the 100th of his career. Martin got about 3 this week on baseball's biggest stage. American League Central rivals battle. The White Sox look to make up ground in the division. They take on the Tigers. White Sox and the Tigers on ESPN2's Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. Part of the hunt for October. 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our ESPN crew here at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Number 5 Boise State and number 19 Georgia locked in a 7-all tie. Martin's going to flush out of that backfield. So it's Kellen Moore firing on a slant. It's complete. Throws a dart to Matt Miller for another first down. Miller's the guy that caught the touchdown pass earlier in this half. Now they change up receivers and go again without a huddle. Georgia trying to change up some personnel on defense.
And Grant Hedrick is back in at quarterback. Again, he's the running quarterback. Kellen Moore's on the sideline. The last time he just handed off. Let's see if he doesn't try to keep the football in this time.
Out of Independence, Oregon, the redshirt freshman. DJ Harper is behind him. He rides it to Harper and takes it on the sweep. And he's got a first down. So it pays off the Wildcat formation that time. A pickup of 11. Nice run.
Yep, and the key to that is to be patient with that fake, to carry it out at the mesh point and really sell it to the defense and not be in too big of a hurry to get it out on the perimeter.
So here the Broncos are in the red zone again, where they are very efficient. Last time they got it down to a 1st and goal, then lost some yardage, but still ended up with a 17-yard touchdown pass. Right now they've got it at the Georgia 11-yard line. Martin, the straight snap to him, and that hasn't paid off either time they tried it, as Georgia's waiting for it. A loss of 1. Take a look at the red zone, brought to you by Verizon. Last season, 47 touchdowns in their 68 possessions. Tonight, I mentioned earlier, 1 red zone possession, and it ended up with a touchdown pass.
Well, the last time Boise State lined up with 3 receivers over here, they came back to the single side receiver. Same action with the back out of the backfield.
They pump it that way. And now Moore down the middle to Efau, and he is in for the touchdown. The big fella took about 3 Bulldogs with him the last yard or so. We mentioned he's a big target down in that red zone. The last time they had it, this time they pay it off. The second touchdown pass for Kellen Moore. Georgia player down again. I think it's Christian Robinson, the other inside linebacker. You talk about, we've mentioned it twice. Georgia couldn't afford to lose inside linebackers. That's their thinnest position. And this would be their second starter, and hopefully that's just a cramp again. The way they're treating him, you hope so. But
well, Kellen Moore is going to read this, and he's going to see two guys over here, 2-on-1. So he's not going to throw that way. He's got four guys over here that he's going to work those four guys and just let that play unfold and pick the open guy. He sees the double coverage. He comes back the other way and finds Efa underneath. And again, when you have a quarterback as savvy and as experienced as Kellen Moore, he reads that coverage. He knows where to go with the football right away, and then he gets it there on time and accurately.
Taking a look at whether or not Efa got in the end zone, but they say yes, and the extra point is up and good. So a big play first by the Bronco defense. The interception leads to the second touchdown toss of the night for Kellen Moore, and now Boise State in front by 7.
Can make that.
For 99 cents?
Probably not.
Our 99-cent chicken flatbread sandwiches, now in 2 bold flavors, only at Taco Bell.
It's been a good year for the Chevy Silverado, and not because of the awards or the accolades. No, it was good because you told us so. The Chevy Model Year Wrap-Up. Get in on our greatest model year yet. Just announced, celebrate Labor Day with an additional $500 bonus cash. With all other offers, including the All-Star Edition discount, that's a total value of $6,500. Our greatest model year yet is...
See that sign over there? That's what Entelos and limited plans are all about. It really is that simple. Want to talk? Want to text? Want to go online? Well, help yourself. Have as much as you want all the time. There are no limits. It's like Entelos Wireless is offering free refills for your entire social universe.
Now get 2 smartphone lines for just $99.98. Always high-speed, dependable nationwide coverage. Only from Entelos Wireless.
The year 1974. The fashions were loud, the music was groovy, and Earl Ray Tomlin first got elected. After 36 years, what's he done? Tomlin raised taxes on job creators. He spent your money on himself. Tomlin quadrupled his own pay and took trips to vacation destinations on your dime. For 36 years, Earl Ray got his way, you got the bill. Paid for by Republican Governor's Public Policy Committee, not authorized by a candidate or committee.
Boise State in front for the first time tonight now, 14-7, 48 seconds remaining in the half. And time for our Aflac trivia question for the first time this year. Brandon Boykin has 4 career kickoff returns for touchdown. He's tied with 2 other players for the SEC record. Who are they? Give you a chance to think about it. Right now, Georgia would like to see him get his 5th career kickoff return for a touchdown. He's been basically their only offense. He's got an 80-yard touchdown run in the offensive set tonight. Let's see if he gets his hands on this one. He's going to have to backpedal into the end zone about 3 yards deep, and he will bring it out. Boykin, and he's not going to get to the 20, only to the 15-yard line as we check in with Reese Davis.
Brad, just a little bit away from the Wendy's halftime report. We'll let you know what's going on with LSU and Oregon, those two in a slugfest on ABC. Number 1 team in the land, the Oklahoma Sooners, having no trouble. We'll show you what Landry Jones is doing. And the team that finished number 1 last year, Auburn, in a barn burner that went right down to the end. Unbelievable finish against Utah State. You'll see it all coming up in a bit.
All right, Reese here. Georgia again, terrible starting field position, although with 43 seconds, they may not get too fancy here before halftime. Don't want to make another mistake like they did on their last drive with that interception from the 15. Aaron Murray does want to throw it, a screen pass. Got it to Samuel, but he only got a couple of yards. Mike Atkinson with the tackle.
Now the story of the first half to me has been very clear. Boise State has been better in the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line, edge to Boise State. Therefore, they have the lead at this point going into halftime, and they'll get the ball to start the third quarter as well.
And Todd, if you think Isaiah Crowell isn't going to have to carry the load the rest of the way, Richard Samuel just limped off, and Georgia really only has 2 tailbacks, to be honest with you. Carlton Thomas not playing tonight due to a 1-game suspension. The other 2 backs that carried the load last year are both gone, and here is Crowell.
I think Mark Richt's got to get his guys in the locker room. And we talked about that edge that he has this year.
Yeah.
He's going to have to call on that edge and challenge the manhood of his offense and defensive linemen, because they are getting whipped at the point of attack by the Boise State Broncos.
So a late interception by the Broncos here in the second quarter led to Kellen Moore's second touchdown. They have the lead at halftime, 14-7 as we go down to Holly.
Coach Peterson, it was a little slow in that first quarter trying to connect with your wide receivers. What started to change in this second quarter?
You know, these first games, you never know how it's going to go. There's not a lot of rhythm established at this point just because the game's played at a faster speed. We got some young guys. It'll take a minute.
What do you have to do a little different to establish the run a little bit better?
Yeah, there's no doubt we need to run the ball a little bit better, but hopefully our O-line can get into a rhythm as well, and hopefully the second half we click a little bit better on offense.
And you gave up the 1 long play on defense, but what else do you like that you've seen from your defense?
Well, I think they played well except for that 1 play, but that's the problem when you're playing a team like Georgia. 1 play and it can cost you big like it did.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, halftime. Boise State on the road, ranked 5th, leading number 19 Georgia, 14-7. As we head to the Wendy's halftime report, Reese, Mark, and Lou standing by, guys.
All right, Brad, got a good one going in Atlanta. Get you to the second half coming up in just a little while. There's another one going on in Dallas. Cowboys Stadium, house that Jerry built, the hat and chip. Oregon and LSU. Jarrett Lee wanted to call a timeout, stepped away, the snap came, Oregon recovered. That led to a field goal that snapped a 3-3 tie momentarily. Ducks had the lead. Now LSU, the same score, Red Wing punting. Kenyon Barner's back there. Cliff Harris suspended, but it's not as if Barner's inexperienced. He's a fine punt returner, but he just gives up the football mark.
He definitely is. In this situation, you always have to protect the football, particularly when you're inside the 10-yard line. You make sure that you protect the ball.
Tyrann Mathieu took it in for the touchdown, but LaMichael James would answer. And now just inside a minute to go in the first half, and Oregon has a lead right in LSU's backyard, about 80%, maybe 90% LSU in the crowd, but they're down in the first. Tulsa taking on number 1 Oklahoma. Here's Dominique Whaley punching it in, and Landry Jones finds Ryan Broyles. This is going to happen a lot this year, Coach.
Surprise! How? I wouldn't cover him. All he did was set all kind of records last year. He is unbelievable, and they just have a knack for each other.
Broyles wouldn't quite get into the end zone. It would set up a touchdown. Tulsa just scored to cut the lead to 24, but Oklahoma had a 30-0 lead at one point. The Sooners appeared well on their way to starting the season 1-0. They've got Florida State coming up in a couple of weeks. Let's go back to the marquee game of the night. In addition to ours, Boise State and Georgia, the LSU-Oregon game. Has anything surprised you about the way the first half's gone? Oregon's just about doubled up LSU in yardage so far.
They definitely have, but what surprised me in the first half is Oregon turning the ball over. They've turned it over twice in this game. One cost them a touchdown. They need to protect the football because their last drive was 19 plays, took it in for a touchdown. All the LSU defenders had their hands on their hips. So in the second half, pay attention to that because they're going to wear them down with their frenetic pace on offense.
What I was really surprised about was that Oregon had to replace 6 players on defense, and yet LSU could not run the football. Now, as we said last year, Ridley and Jefferson accounted for 2/3 of the yardage on the ground, and they're both gone. But I thought they would be more productive than they have been.
You know, we talked also in the pregame about the loss on the offensive line for LSU. Their left guard, Josh Dworsik's out of the game, got injured a few days ago and unable to play, and LSU hasn't really mustered much offense at all, and the Ducks have the lead now, just inside a minute to go in the first half. As I say, LSU hasn't mustered some offense. They're in the red zone right now on the 10-yard line facing a third down. It's on ABC, and Jarrett Lee just threw a touchdown pass, so LSU's going to take the lead. That game is going on over on ABC. Team that finished number 1 last year, Auburn taking on Utah State. Not many Tigers returned from last year, 3 on each side of the ball. This is freshman Trey Mason. Auburn's down 21-7 when Mason gets loose.
A terrific job by Mason, Coach, because how many safeties did they have?
You should have 3. They only had 1.
Barrett Trotter, the new quarterback, finding Trevante Stallworth. There's lingerie on the deck to Jordan Hare after Stallworth makes that. This is a 4th down play. Utah State took a penalty to move back, baiting the cheese trap. They faked the field goal. DJ Talavea makes the catch. It scoops up. Did you like the gamble, Coach?
I did like the gamble because you're an underdog, a huge underdog. You come in there and you got a chance. You have to gamble like that.
And it put the Aggies up by 10, and with just over 2 minutes to go, Auburn was still down by 10 before Trotter finds Philip Lutzenkirchen. Here is where Utah State didn't play the onside kick well, Coach.
Absolutely, because you have to do one of two things. Either your front line block the defenders from Auburn, or as I preferred, they let the ball go through, that everybody converges on the receiving, and that way Auburn could not have gotten free to get the ball.
Avery Blake got it, and Michael Dyer scored the winning touchdown, and the Tigers scored 2 touchdowns in less than 2 minutes and 10 seconds at the end. They pull it out of the fire, 42-38. Skip Holt said he wasn't going to Notre Dame to take his team and have a bunch of cameras around their neck, and South Florida came in. Well, somebody might want to take a picture of this. Jarrell Young forcing the fumble by Jonas Gray, and there goes Kayvon Webster, Mark.
And a terrific job being Johnny on the spot, but the aggressiveness of South Florida on their defense, they were very opportunistic in this game, particularly on the defensive side of the ball.
23-13 in a game that took longer than the 100 Years' War because of the weather delays. This is how you play the onside kick after Notre Dame scored. South Florida recovers, Lindsey Lamar gets it, and South Florida goes into Notre Dame, and they win it 23-20. If I may say, I've got a proud dad sitting right next to me.
You sure do. Very proud.
We'll talk about the Gators and the Gamecocks when you come back.
This halftime report is presented by Wendy's. You know when it's real.
Sorry, I couldn't get away.
You can now.
Looking for life insurance can feel like a jungle of ifs. If I'll finally get the coverage my family deserves. If it's something we can afford. To steer clear of the confusion, go to MetLife.com. In less than 5 minutes, you'll get straight answers, like how much life insurance you really need and how much it costs. So no matter where you end up buying, you'll make the best decision for your family. Get guarantees for the if in life from MetLife. Call 1-888-MET-LIFE for your free quote with no pressure or obligation.
Everyone has a dream, but sometimes your future can be a bit hard to see. That's why the principal created the Dreamcatcher, a new online tool to help imagine the life you want someday in pictures. You can organize, prioritize, and plan. Then, with more than 130 years' experience, we can manage your investments to help make your dream reality. Visit dreamagain.com or ask your advisor. It's time to dream again with the principal.
Who's Daddy's widow? Holla.
G-Dog, what's up?
You know me, right now I'm just kicking
Tell
it.
me you caught the game last night.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I caught the game.
Well, how about that third quarter call? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Come on, that was ridiculous. Lee, awesome. Oh, and that hit on Williams, did you see that?
Yeah, he's done for the season.
I gotta bounce. I got it.
Only AT&T's network lets your iPhone talk and surf at the same time. AT&T.
Hey guys, the reviews are in on Cars.com.
Really? What'd they say?
Well, let's see. It says Sheila looks great, topless.
What's so funny?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And it says here Hank's a real gas guzzler.
You hear that, Hank?
Whatever.
Hey, what about me?
It says your ride is very smooth.
Aw, yeah. Hear that, Sheila?
Never gonna happen.
With consumer and expert reviews, confidence comes standard.
See? Just like the review said. Big rear end.
Excuse me?
Welcome back to the Wendy's Halftime Report.
Dawning of a new era for the Florida Gators taking on Florida Atlantic. There's John Brantley and Will Muschamp's first game. The Georgia alum and Gainesville native has his team wearing orange. Jeff Demps has a new number, same speed. Number 28 goes in. Still Olympic quality, Coach. Here's Brantley giving it to Chris Rainey. He's pretty quick, too.
Yes, he is.
It's not only speed, the Gators have a decided schematic advantage. 31-3. Who's the offensive coordinator there, Mark?
Charles Weiss.
Chuckles has them up 31-3. Muschamp helping. East Carolina and South Carolina playing in Charlotte. Dominique Davis to Lance Lewis. Lance, a lot. East Carolina up 14-0.
We started calling the Sean Connery. We couldn't get us in the end zone. So I put Steven in. Yeah, there it goes.
Terrific run by Steven Garcia. 32 yards for the score, but what a great decision to come down with the ball and take it in for the score.
17-7, South Carolina. Don't want to throw it, we just run it. Marcus Lattimore, a sensational freshman season, cuts it to 17-14. East Carolina comes up with a little more offense. Offense was not a problem last year for Ruffin McNeil's team. Joe Womack powers his way in. It's 24-14, but then, South Carolina goes off on offense. It's 24-21 after Ace Sanders had scored. There goes Garcia running again. I think old number 5 wants his starting job back.
I think he's earned it.
I don't think he wants to share with Connor Shaw anymore. It's 28-24, and the defense coming alive. You know, I've been watching Jadeveon Clowney, the freshman. He has been wreaking havoc. Now, he didn't score there. It's Antonio Allen going in to score. South Carolina's up 42, now 31. It's East Carolina scored again. But Clowney appears to be everything is advertised. Certainly Kellen Moore's everything is advertised as well. Boise State on top of the Dogs in the Georgia Dome by 7.
Hey, Wendy, me and the boys, we like our chicken with a little heat.
Well, let's answer that call with a truckload of spicy chicken for the Branch Street Firehouse. We only use tender, whole breast fillets, kicked up with our blend of peppers and spices.
That's a great sandwich. Got some zing to it, huh?
Our spicy chicken is the perfect balance between flavor and heat.
Got a good kick, huh? You need a good kick.
Try one today, because like these guys, you know when it's real.
Firefighter tested, firefighter approved. I agree.
Word is spreading about the year's most intense thriller.
It's figuring us out faster than we're figuring it out.
What happened to her? What happened to her? Contagion, rated PG-13, starts September 9th.
It's the LensCrafters semi-annual lens event. That's 50% off lenses, including bifocals, no lines, even sunglasses made with your prescription. Sale ends September 12th, so hurry in. LensCrafters.
We build tires, but not like anybody else. We build our tires for people, not just cars. So more than what your Cooper tires can do, it's about what you can do with your Cooper tires. Like get up to $75 back on 4 qualifying Cooper tires during our Take the Money and Ride event. Get your rebate form and complete terms and conditions at a participating Cooper Tire dealer or CooperTireRebates.com. Life's a road trip. Come on, let's go.
You don't always have to understand something to respect it. This is Jeremiah Weed.
Thank you.
ESPN College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, Saturdays.
Over 5,000 SEC student athletes. 2,583 named to academic honor roll. 329 named academic All-American. 12 universities. One mission. The Southeastern Conference, equipping tomorrow's leaders today.
Western Michigan and Michigan, another coaching debut. Brady Hoke leading out the Maize and Blue. Third quarter, Western Michigan down 20-10. Alex Carter sacked by Jordan Kovacs. Brandon Herron, Mark, had a couple of returns on defense for touchdowns.
And you really don't see that by Michigan defense, but they're able to score twice on defense. They couldn't do that last year, but the Michigan defense looked much better this year.
And what about Michael Shaw? The offense, new one for Hoke, their coach.
Very, very well executed. Michigan had a great offense last year and had 8 starters back. I'm a little disappointed.
You know, this game was called due to weather with some time left in the third quarter, 34-10. money back guarantee in some quarters. Minnesota and USC, Matt Barkley. He set a USC record, Lou, completing 34 passes, 17 of them, also a school record, to Robert Woods.
And they needed every single one of them against the Minnesota. Jerry Kill did a tremendous job.
And here's another hookup between the two.
Unbelievable.
Woods had 3 touchdown catches on the day. SC, though, only had a 19-3 lead. Minnesota had cut it back to 19-17. I did not believe that Minnesota could beat USC in L.A., and it turns out they could not. Max Shortell was picked off by Torin Harris, and the Trojans hang on 19-17, but a very good first performance by Jerry Kill. He'll get that program on the right track in short order. One program that's already on the right track is Boise State. Boise State, Kellen Moore, touchdown pass. They're up by 7.
Now it's time for a one-of-a-kind pod.
Would you like her to rephrase the question?
I'm not going to be the person I'm expected to be anymore.
Bien expected. Bleu de Chanel.
At Chanel.com.
This place needs me here to start. This place is the beat of my heart. Oh, 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 my heart.
Toyota's nationwide clearance event is on. Now's a great time to save big on a Toyota, the most fuel-efficient full-line automaker. Take advantage of the summer's best selection and the year's biggest deals on our most popular models. Get a new 2011 Corolla with 0% financing or $500 cash back. And every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a complimentary maintenance plan with roadside assistance. Toyota's nationwide clearance event ends soon. Hurry in today before time runs out.
At Southern Ohio Medical Center, we've put together a team that has really invested time and energy into minimally invasive surgery. The pain is going to be less. Recovery time is dramatically decreased. For the patient, it's better because they are up and moving around and healing much quicker. For the family, it's better emotionally. We're doing 50% of our cases in a minimally invasive fashion. I know what we're doing here is extraordinary.
Minimally invasive open heart surgery at SOMC. Very good things are happening.
Thin game fly, period.
This is something you don't see very often. Kellen Moore throwing an interception. Brandon Smith got one, but Dogs down 7, second half not far away.
This halftime report is presented by Wendy's. You know when it's real.
Hey, Wendy, check it out. Caramel apple, frosty.
Yes! Way ahead of you. Our new caramel apple frosty parfait has the best taste of fall with sweet and tart apples and caramel sauce. Try one today, because you know when it's real.
If something is simply the color of gold, is it really worth more? We don't think so. Chase Sapphire Preferred is a card of a different color. Unlike others, you get twice the points on travel and twice the points on dining, and no foreign transaction fees. Call now or apply at chasesapphire.com/preferred.
It is the height of technology, precision mechanics, working together in perfect unison for one purpose. Victory.
Watch me. Bring it!
Real steel. Rated PG-13.
If he were to pat you on the back, you would list it on your resume. Both sides of his pillow are cool. When in Rome, they do as he does. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends.
We have it in us to be the better men. We already are. Who's with me?
X-Men First Class.
Boise State University. Where you see blue, we see an emerging metropolitan research university of distinction. Located in one of the West's most dynamic cities. A place of science and engineering. A place of technology and innovation. A place of nature and art. When you look beyond the blue, you can see the new you. Boise State University.
This is Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week.
Welcome back to the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Georgia and Boise State. And the Bronco fans happy they've got the lead heading into the third quarter, and they'll get the football first. Kellen Moore, a couple of touchdown passes. As you take a look at the statistics, though, almost nothing offensively for Georgia, Todd, including terrible field position all night long.
They started in their own territory, and that 150 yards of total offense a little misleading because they ran 30 plays. They got 80 in one play, so 71 yards on 29 plays is not very good.
Well, not only that, but the three positions that they were the thinnest: tailback, inside linebacker, and offensive line, and they've had three guys go down at each of those spots.
Yeah, they're going to have different guys step up, but those were the key areas that Mark Richt said they couldn't afford to lose guys. Take a look at Richard Samuel there trying to get stretched out. Had the quad injury that caused him to miss a couple weeks of practice coming into tonight's ball game. The other guys were Alec Ogletree, the sophomore linebacker, and the offensive guard, Ken Arias Gates, who was one of their key guys on that offensive front.
So Boise State will get the football first, too, to start this third quarter. Remember, Jarrell Gavin's interception late in the second quarter led to Kellen Moore's second touchdown pass, and that's why they've got the one-score lead. Doug Martin's back deep, the starting tailback, as the kick return man, and he'll field this one at about the 1 yard line. Gets those high knees lifting as he got across the 20, out near the 24-yard line.
Well, this was Kellen Moore on their last scoring drive, and I want you to see two things. Number one, the accuracy of the football, and number two, no red jerseys around him when he throws the football. So good protection by that veteran offensive line, and if you give him time, he's going to pick you apart. And if you look at his pass charts, a left-handed quarterback, most of his damage done on the left side of the field, and mostly short, not throwing the ball down the field, and hasn't really had to at this point.
He hit 9 of his last 10 pass attempts to close out the first half. Sets his team up at the 24-yard line to open the third quarter. Doug Martin trying to bounce it outside, and Georgia's defense is there to meet the challenge and dropping for a loss. Let's check in with Holly.
Checking in with Georgia coach Mark Richt at the half. He said that Kenarius Gates, their offensive lineman, is out for the game, but he said Dallas Lee is ready to go and should be a capable backup. But they have lost Alec Ogletree for the game, guys. That's a huge blow. It looks like Christian Robinson will be able to go, but Coach Richt said they've got to start making some plays downfield.
Trying to make one there to try to strip the ball out of Mitch Burrows, but he hangs on. Jeremy Sulik with the tackle.
Now, Jeremy Sulik is the guy who's in there for the injured Ogletree. He's the other linebacker now playing alongside of Christian Robinson.
They had Herrera, the true freshman, in there at times, but Sulik has some experience, senior out of Decula. And it's a third down and a couple. Georgia changes up some defensive personnel. Kwame Geathers, the big nose tackle, hustles out there, number 99, trying to plug that middle. 3rd and 2. Let's see if Martin gets the call. Nope, play fake. Moore over the middle, completes it Miller's got a first down.
See, this is what makes Kellen Moore so good. I think this was a run play called, but they give him a pass option. Georgia tried to substitute big people anticipating a run. Kellen Moore saw that and checked to the pass and threw for the short first down instead of trying to run against the Georgia front.
So again, without a huddle, the Broncos in the pistol set at the 40-yard line. Opening drive, third quarter. Moore going to the left side again. Efaw with the catch, but he's hit immediately by Sean Williams, the safety. Williams was shaken up earlier in the first half as well, but he's back out there. They haven't had to worry about huddles much tonight, have they?
I think a huddle is a thing of the past in college football.
Martin trying to test the left side, got a yard. That's it.
You hear somebody describe a guy like Kellen Moore, say he's like a coach on the field. Well, part of that is his decision-making and his recognition. He doesn't allow Boise State to run bad plays. He sees what the defense is, and he makes sure he gets his team in good plays.
3rd and 5, zips another one complete, and another first down. It's Mitch Burrows again. So just methodically slicing it down the field against the Georgia defense. Number 11 doing his thing. Moore again. Complete again, and another first down. Kirby Moore, his little brother, with his first catch of the night. Well, little brother in age, not size. Again, they're hurrying it up here against the Georgia defense. Moore to his brother again, back-to-back catches. Out of bounds with a first down.
And you can see Georgia players tapping their heads. They need out, they need a rest. And that's exactly what this hurry-up offense that was made so popular by Oregon is doing. It's wearing out the defense, and they're not rushing the passer with much energy.
And this time.
And now they call a timeout. I mean, this is a desperate defense.
Georgia, that is their first charge time out of this half.
Open to get some gas back in the tank of the Dogs.
Free hot breakfast with fresh waffles. Real value from your friends at Hampton.
State Farm, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica. Jerry Newman with a policy question.
Jerry, how are you doing?
Fine. I just got a little fender bender.
Oh, Jerry, I'm so sorry.
I would love to help, but remember you dropped us last month.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It only took 15 minutes to sign up with that new auto insurance company, but it's taken a lot longer to hear back.
Is your car up a pole again?
I miss you, Jessica.
Jerry, are you crying?
No, I bit my tongue.
Get to a better state. State Farm.
Are we doing okay here?
Absolutely.
And what can I get for you?
I'll have one of those.
Nissan's bottom line sales event has been extended. With better availability than Honda or Toyota, you save. Get an additional $500 holiday bonus cash on popular models like Altima, $179 plus bonus cash. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer today. More cars, bonus cash, more savings. Hurry, and September 5th.
Its birth was the genesis of a journey in greatness. Countless All-Americans and 4 Heisman winners have flourished on its fields. Its victor has bested opponents for 9 national titles and the last 5 BCS championships. It is, and always will be, the first of its kind. The 2011 SEC Football Championship, a 20-year tradition.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
The ESPN wraps up the holiday weekend with an ACC battle Monday night for you. The Hurricanes and the Terrapins. Al Golden, Randy Edsel trying to earn a win in their ACC debut. College football primetime, part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. Monday, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Well, mostly Georgia fans here in a sold-out Georgia Dome tonight, but they have been disappointed in what they've seen so far. Their team down 14-7 and being forced to call a timeout because the Broncos were just moving it down the field at ease with their no-huddle sets. And they've got it to the 24-yard line of Georgia right now. Moore under center. Fakes the end around and then lofts a pass to the sideline. He's got another first down. And it's Gabe Linehan, his other tight end.
Well, they are in rhythm right now. You know, when Chris Peterson told Holly at halftime it takes a little while to get a rhythm in the first game, they're in rhythm right now. That's what this is. No pressure on Moore. They're just mixing and matching. He's throwing to a lot of different guys. I dare say this offense might be even more unpredictable than it was last year because there is no Pettis and there is no Young, and Kellen Moore just throws all over the place.
They've got it, first and goal. Martin hit, a big hit that caused a helmet to pop off. Loss on the plays. Corey Moore, I beg your pardon, Jarvis Jones, the linebacker, made the stop.
The best thing that Georgia has done tonight defensively has stopped Doug Martin. I mean, here's Jarvis is going to come in crashing on the outside. He takes a good line to the football, and they've done a good job bottling up Doug Martin. But they've not done a good job getting consistent pressure on Kellen Moore in the passing game.
Now they got Harper and Martin in an eye set, both behind Kellen Moore. That's Efaw, the tight end, in motion. Toss sweep to Martin, trying to get to the corner. Smith tried to get him but couldn't. Touchdown. 7 yards for Martin, so this time they don't bottle him up. And he skips outside and beat one of the better defenders for Georgia to the corner of the end zone.
We got a really nice block from his tackle, Nate Potter, and the tight end, Kyle Efaw, and then he just beat the last guy himself, Brandon Smith. Have trouble running inside, bounce it outside, and a touchdown for Boise State.
Boy, that was a good-looking drive. Took just under 4 minutes to go 76 yards, and they score on the ground for the first time tonight. So the 5th-ranked Broncos extend their lead, courtesy of their star tailback, 21-7, Boise State.
Nike Vapor Carbon Fly cleats are about being quick and blowing up plays. The quicker you are, the faster the play gets blown.
See how that offense is trying to fool us?
I just came in for some cleats, Clay Matthews.
You just need to get in there and blow it up.
Take every advantage. Nike Zoom Vapor Carbon Fly cleat at Dick's Sporting Goods. Better athlete, better team.
Inspired by the amazing true story.
No dolphin has ever been known to lose its entire tail and survive.
The odds were incredible, but her spirit was unbreakable. Dolphin Tale, rated PG, starts September 23rd.
Nissan's bottom line sales event has been extended. With better availability than Honda or Toyota, you save. Get an additional $500 holiday bonus cash on popular models like Altima, $179 plus bonus cash. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer today. More cars, bonus cash, more savings. Hurry, and September 5th.
We didn't just add guacamole, bacon, and Swiss to a burger. We added it to a Whopper. Enjoy the California Whopper and California Whopper Junior sandwiches, only at Burger King.
I never noticed that. What? The grill. Looks like an overhead shot of a stadium.
Thank you. The grill lines are the yard lines, which is what I've been saying. Football was created to make us grill.
Here we go.
Look, retractable dome.
That's not retracting.
You get it. Plus, what are most mascots?
Animals.
Think about it.
You do know there's people in those costumes, right? Not all of them. Take your dome, please. Sorry.
The 2011 Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game, brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. And Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Broncos now with a 2-touchdown lead. And right now it's time for trivia question answer, which was Brandon Boykin, 4 career returns for touchdowns, tied with 2 other players in the SEC. Who were they? Willie Gault, the speedster from Tennessee, and more recently Felix Jones of Arkansas, now with the Dallas Cowboys. Well, Georgia would love to see number 5 on the kick return for a score from Boykin, because he's been the only offense so far tonight. He'll get a chance. Brandon will take it at the 1-yard line. And they've got him dialed in, and he almost lost the ball. Covered it himself at the 15. But there again, the starting field position is actually getting worse. We told you at one time the average was the 18-yard line. It's going backwards, Todd.
Well, and this is a credit to Chris Peterson, too, because last year, one of the weaknesses of this team was the average starting field position for their opponents after a kickoff was the 32-yard line. Well, they have certainly improved on that tonight. And again, we see Georgia starting 85 yards away from the goal line.
7th start for the Bulldogs inside their own 20. And Aaron Murray has had a very, very tough night so far. Play action. And this throw is on the money to Orson Charles. Pickup of almost 12 and a first down.
See, they went to the I formation play action pass because that's their best pass protection. That's a 7-man pass protection. They had trouble blocking this front of Boise State. Boise's not a blitzing team. They usually just bring 4, maybe 5 guys at the quarterback. But that play action pass picks everybody up.
By the way, the big tailback, Richard Samuel, even though he was shaken up at the end of the second quarter, is back in there. They fake it to him, and Murray goes deep down the middle to Charles again, spins away into Bronco territory to the 45-yard line.
See, Boise State is rushing 5. So Mark Richt's answer is to block with 7. See, they're going to bring 5 guys in here. And so Mark Richt says, we're going to go play action with 2 backs, and we're going to block with 7 and give our quarterback some time to throw the football down the field.
At the 45. This time they do give it off to Samuel. And he got about 3 to the 42. Billy Wynn on the tackle.
This is a good change by Mike Bobo and Mark Richt, because if Boise State wants to commit 5 guys to the rush, and that only leaves 6 in coverage, and you can get 3 guys out for sure, and if maybe get a back out to get a 4th receiver out. But you do it primarily for protection first, to give Aaron Murray some time.
The 2nd and 7 is only the 6th play that Georgia has run in Boise State territory tonight. Nice play fake, and Murray loads and fires again, complete. This time it's Aaron White, his other tight end. Pick up at 14. All of a sudden, life in the Georgia offense and in the dome itself. Got it down to the 28-yard line. And again, both teams, for the most part, no huddle tonight.
See, now this is where Aaron Murray has to realize Isaiah Crowell is not really up to speed on all the pass blocking. So I got to make sure he knows exactly what he's doing when he's next to me.
Yeah. Took off too fast, but so did Cordy Glenn, I think, the left tackle.
False start, 71 offense. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
It's a 4th pre-snap penalty on Georgia, this time on their left tackle.
Last year, Aaron Murray, when he threw the ball down the field, he was much more effective with play action faking than he was with no play action. And again, first and foremost, the reason for that is it's better protection.
Now they got a long yardage situation on first down. First and 15. Under 9 minutes in the 3rd quarter. Georgia trailing by 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Crowell with a blocker in front. Nifty move to the inside. And now goes down at the 30. Only got 3 out of it. Darrell Gavins, who has one of the big plays of the night for the Boise State defense, made the tackle. Gavins had that interception, if you didn't see it, late in the 2nd quarter that led to the Kellen Moore touchdown pass that put him up by 7 at the break. at the 30-yard line. Georgia taking their time here, but again without a huddle as Aaron Murray, the sophomore quarterback, lines him up. He's moved this from his own 15-yard line down to the 30. That's Mitchell in motion. Here comes some extra pressure. Murray fires to the outside and incomplete. Tavares King couldn't handle it. That wasn't the best throw of Murray's night. Deep out on the right side, and King just couldn't quite get to it cleanly. Now here's the problem they've had all night, other than bad field position, bad third down situations for Mark Richt and the Georgia offense.
And you see Crowell is out and Samuel is back in because he's a little more experienced, maybe in a bigger body for pass protection.
They've got to get it down to the 18-yard line for a first down. At least in this situation with an excellent kicker, if nothing goes wrong, they should be able to at least try to get some points here on this drive.
Orson Charles is in the slot.
Murray pump fakes. Not enough time for a double move and a pump and then a throw, and he goes down. And now that is probably going to take him out of what I was talking about. Field goal position, third sack of the night.
Just a five-man pressure, and they were able to get to Aaron Murray. Again, this is a team that led the nation in sacks last year with 49. It's not an all-out blitz with zero coverage. It's just five guys rushing.
Well, one of the best kickers in the country. He's never hit one this far in a game. Practice maybe, but his career long is 53 for Blair Walsh. He'll try from 55 yards out and on the way, and it's wide left. Georgia had a great thing going and came up empty. Boise State will get the ball back with a 2-touchdown lead here in the third quarter with 7:21 remaining.
Sunday NFL Countdown, Sunday mornings on ESPN.
For breakfast, try our spicy chicken biscuit.
Are you ready for some football?
It's back to football with a special Monday night doubleheader. Tom Brady leads the explosive Pats against Reggie Bush and the rival Dolphins. Then Darren McFadden and the Raiders clash with Kyle Orton and the Broncos in a mile-high showdown. ESPN's Monday Night Football returns September 12th. Patriots Dolphins at 7, Raiders Broncos at 10.
No one wants to think about a tragedy like this happening to them or their family, but if it does, you can turn to Chris Gerard, attorney at law.
The insurance company isn't there to be fair or to help you, but I will be. Let my consistent track record of aggressive representation and uncompromising ethics work for you. Before you talk to the insurance company, talk to me, Chris Gerard.
We started getting these unbelievable deals from Living Social, and things really haven't been the same. Now we're discovering a whole new side of our city. And ourselves.
Surprise yourself at livingsocial.com. Sign up for free to save at least 50% on the best of your town.
Oh, yeah. The SEC on ESPN here from the Georgia Dome, 21-7. Boise State from the Mountain West leading the SEC's Georgia Bulldogs. Only 2 races left until the chase. Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr. battling for their postseason lives. Plus, with $3 million on the line in the Sprint Summer Showdown, drivers are going to do anything to win. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is here in Atlanta, presented by Pennzoil. Coverage starts on ESPN tomorrow night at 6:30 Eastern Time. Brian Scott, who was driving the Boise State blue number 11 car, finished 12th, but I'm sure he was in 11th place at some point tonight. At the 37-yard line, first down after the missed field goal by Blair Walsh. Kellen Moore off the play fake on the bootleg, throws to Efaw, the tight end of the 40. Pickup of about 4.
Well, for Kellen Moore now, that's 17 of his last 18 he's completed.
The other one was an interception.
Yeah, and we've mentioned he lost 2 guys in Austin Pettis and Titus Young that each caught 71 balls last year.
This time he whips it out on a screen pass to Burrows. And Burrows got about 3 more.
And they left home, as we reported at the beginning of the game, Geraldo Boldevine, who was considered to be their big play receiver this year, coming back. So what he's doing tonight with guys who don't have much experience is pretty remarkable.
Sure is. 3rd and 3. He's got another completion, but this time Georgia is going to drag the receiver out of bounds. Jeremy Sulik with DJ Harper drags him out short of the first down.
That was really a big stop by the Georgia defense.
Yep.
They needed that. They needed to stop the bleeding somehow. And now hope that maybe Brandon Smith can get him some decent field position for Aaron Murray in the offense.
Brad Elkin into punt. There is Brandon Smith hustling back. He's got an interception tonight. His teammate in the secondary, Brandon Boykin, has the only Georgia touchdown on an 80-yard touchdown run. Again, they keep it away from Brandon Smith, but this one shanked out of bounds over there about the 25-yard line. Well, 6 years ago, these two teams got together. That one was in Athens, and DJ Shockley had the game of his life. 6 touchdowns for DJ, including that one on the ground, 5 through the air. Jared Zabransky had a horrible game. 6 turnovers, 4 interceptions, 2 fumbles, and then DJ went to the air. Touchdown pass to Sean Bailey. Final score 48-13, and boy, would they like to have some of those points right now.
You know, Chris Peterson was the offensive coordinator on the staff at that time under Dan Hawkins, and he said 2 things stood out in 05. They had way more team speed overall than we did, and the humidity playing during the day in Athens was unbearable for our team.
This is the best starting field position of the night, if you can believe that, for Georgia at the 25. Quick play fake. Murray's going to load and go deep. And he overshot everybody, including his intended receiver, Rantavius Wooten. Aaron Murray comes into the season as the SEC preseason choice to be the first team all-SEC quarterback, and he's looked anything but that tonight.
Well, credit goes to this Boise State defense. Again, they are solid. I mean, they were 2nd in the country last year, total defense, scoring defense. They lost 4 guys that all went to NFL camps, and they don't seem to have missed a beat.
Figgins steps in front of Crowell to try to lead the way. And Crowell, the highly talented freshman, has been bottled up pretty much tonight. Pickup of 3. Isaiah finding out this is not high school football anymore.
Well, there's Jared Zabransky, the quarterback in that fateful opening game in Athens. Boise State went on to a 9-4 record that year, kind of disappointing. But the next year, they went undefeated and beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, and that kind of put Boise State on the map. And Jared Zabransky said very clearly, if we wouldn't have gone through what we went through in Athens, we'd have never been ready to take that next step the next year.
Well, Jared ended up as a cover boy on EA Sports video game that year after the perfect season. Murray in the pocket, flushed out of it, and downed again. Billy Wynn gets him this time.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised with Aaron Murray right now, because he should know that he can't hold the ball as long as he's holding the football. I mean, he plays in the SEC. They have fast defensive linemen week in and week out in the SEC, and he's holding the ball too long. If it's not there, you got to throw the football away and not put yourself in bad situations.
Drew Butler to punt. Nice kick. Back to the 23-yard line to Potter. Potter got a block across the 35. Chris Potter into Georgia territory. Got another block, weaving his way all the way down inside the 30-yard line. A 56-yard punt, but a 44-yard return.
Well, we've seen Jarrell Gavins make a couple nice plays, including a big interception. He's also going to be the guy that gets the first block on this punt return. Watch Gavins circle back and get the first block that just allows Potter to get upfield, get his shoulders square, and see the defenders coming at him. You got to make the first guy miss, and Potter did that with a little assist from Jarrell Gavins.
We told you Chris Potter averaged over 13 yards of punt return. That one good for 44. And now the Broncos have set up shop at the Georgia 28-yard line with a 2-touchdown lead. Moore wants more. Sideline just overshot Mitch Burrows.
One of the few times that Kellen Moore has ended up on his backside tonight, too. And I know what he's feeling right now. He's thinking the way our defense is playing, if we put another one in right here,
yeah,
we're going to be in great shape. I don't think this team can score 3 times against our defense.
They've got only one score, and that came on not necessarily a trick play, but by using their sensational cornerback and return man, Brandon Boykin, on an 80-yard touchdown run offensively. But the rest of the nights belong to the Broncos. And here's Harper. And Harper broke free. And now a face mask going to be added to it as he goes to the 20-yard line. Brandon Smith got his hand in the mask. And it's going to be a big gainer for Boise State.
It's a bad job of tackling by the Georgia defense. They had Harper bottled up around the line of scrimmage, and nobody took him, wrapped him up and got him to the ground, and then they got a penalty on the end of the play.
This thing's going to take it down inside the 10-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, number 1 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Not only a good run by Harper, but as Todd said, shoddy tackling by Georgia, and then to add
Here's
to the
2
problem.
missed tackles,
Yeah.
and then a penalty on the last tackle. I mean, that's not very good fundamental defense.
And Hedrick has come in again in a Wildcat formation as a quarterback. The line of scrimmage just outside the 10. So it's 1st and 10 at the 11. Hedrick had an 11-yard run the last time he touched it. This time he's going to bring it to the right. Hedrick with a 5 and run out of bounds there.
See, that's a designed run, and the reason I say that is because they got the tight end Efaw out blocking in front of it. I mean, the back is going out, and Efaw is leading that play. Watch number 80 come and lead the play. As the quarterback gets the ball, he's following the block of Efaw out on the edge, and that's a good positive gain. The second time we've seen Grant Hedrick do that for the Boise State offense.
At the 4-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Broncos threatening again. Harper in there at the tailback spot. He'll get the call. And Georgia wraps him up. Another helmet comes flying out and picked up maybe a yard. They'll bring out 3rd down and 2. And Georgia's absolutely got to have a stop here. As Todd said a couple minutes ago, this thing goes to 28-7. And there's going to be a lot of people filing out of the Georgia Dome. With a guy that has the leadership qualities of Kellen Moore, you don't just count on this being a run. This might be play action or a rollout, and you try to get another touchdown pass. There's the play action. There's the lob to the end zone for the touchdown to Tyler Shoemaker. Making it look that easy.
Well, again, I know I've said it a bunch of times, the accuracy of Kellen Moore, but he threads the needle on this one. I mean, there are 3 Georgia defenders, and Kellen Moore comes out of that fake and shoots it in between 3 guys for the Boise touchdown.
Remember, it was all set up by the great punt return by Potter, and the extra point is good. And everything is coming up roses right now for the Broncos. A 3rd touchdown pass of the night for Kellen Moore as he slices the Georgia defense, and it's 28-7.
Are you curious about new ideas? Do you want to learn a new language? Or just a new word? Maybe you want to know more about anatomy or astronomy. You could master something new or uncover a hidden talent. There's never been a better time to learn.
It's this way.
Huh. Okay. I did not anticipate this thing being inside the wall. That's going to take a lot longer than I thought, and I really got to bail.
What?
All right, so as soon as whatever that is fully breaks out, and it will, shoot it in the face with this. After that, it's pretty much just cleanup. Okie doke. Have a good night.
Todd, it took him a little time tonight to get it rolling, but he's got it rolling now.
Well, he is just hitting on everything. And I want you to watch this play because Kellen Moore is a left-handed quarterback. Watch after the fake. He has to get his body all the way around, his shoulders square, and he doesn't even get his feet set on the ground, but he still makes a perfect throw in between three defenders. And that's a quarterback who is feeling it right now.
3 touchdowns on the night, 1 interception. I want to sprint forward for you right now, brought to you by Sprint. As you look ahead, Georgia had so much anticipation coming into this game. They thought if they could beat Boise State basically on their home turf, and here at least in the state of Georgia, it would set them up to meet South Carolina in their SEC opener next week, and they'd have all kinds of confidence. You know what? Forget it. There's no confidence right now. Maybe they've still got time with the next 18 minutes to find some confidence and make it a ball game. Boykin from the 4. Randy got a little seam this time. Boykin. Oh, kicker got him, or he might have been gone. Well, that's his best one of the night, a 40-yard return. We'll see if that sparks Georgia after we check in with Reese Davis.
Brad on ABC, Oregon and LSU in the Sports Center right now, presented by Discover. Michael Ford goes in for the touchdown. Bayou Bengals up by 10. Oregon just fumbled, and LSU has it again in Oregon territory. Number 1 team in the country, the Oklahoma Sooners, taking on Tulsa. Brennan Clay goes in for this touchdown. It's a 30-point lead. Sports Center coming up after the game. College football final follows that.
Reese here, Georgia with a nice return. Best field position for them to start things. Their own 44-yard line. Crowell off the right side, broke a tackle. Isaiah Crowell has his best run of the night. About 11 yards and a first down. Let's check in with Holly.
Guys, before that kickoff return, this Georgia sideline was dead quiet. It was flat. You know, it had been so sky high, electric in here to start the game, the fans and everything, but it's just been quiet. The players are sitting there kind of staring straight ahead, not a lot of talking going on. We'll see if that punt return is the spark they need to get some energy in this offense.
Crowell, this time they'll drop him for a loss. Travis Scanaway and Billy Wynn combine on the hit.
Yeah, you mentioned Billy Wynn. I mean, you got to say these guys, this front 4, Shea McClellan and Tyrone Crawford, the ends, Chase Baker, Billy Wynn, the 2 inside tackles, Michael Atkinson also rotating through there, Jarrell Root rotating through there. It's a veteran group up front, and they have controlled this Georgia offensive line all night.
2nd down, 11 at the Bronco 45 for Georgia. Murray, the play fake and the bootleg again, being chased, throws on the run and in and out of the hands of Tavares King. Should have had it, would have been a first down.
Yeah, that's got to be a catch. J.C. Piercy was putting the pressure on Aaron Murray. He used his athleticism to get outside and then made a nice throw, a little bit behind, but certainly a catchable pass.
So 3rd down and long, which we've said many times tonight for Georgia.
Well, I think this is 4-down territory for Georgia too. So Aaron Murray's got to be thinking here, you know, if it's not there for the first down, let's get at least half of it on this 3rd down play.
Mitchell in motion. Now flags down. Making it harder and harder.
False start. 71 offense, 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
It's Corley Glenn's 2nd penalty of the night on a false start.
Well, the problem again for Georgia is that they've not been able to block this front, and now the game is right in the hands of the Boise defense because they're great at rushing the passer with just 4 guys, and they've got a 21-point lead, so they know they can really go after the passer and not worry too much about the running game of Georgia.
That might not be 2 down territory at midfield. 3rd and 16 for Georgia. Draw play. Crowell. Trying to follow his blockers. Got it to the 42. That's 4th down and about 8. Nope, well, there's some boo birds out now. That's what you don't want to hear as a head coach who had a 6-7 season last year in your season opener. So Drew Butler comes in to punt.
Well, right now you're counting on Drew Butler to be able to try to pin Boise State deep in their territory and hope that you can flip the field here, because you got a whole quarter of football left.
Sure.
And right now you've got to hope that your punter and your defense can come through with a great punt and a 3-and-out.
Tending to Aaron Tavis out on the field right now, the linebacker for Boise State.
You know, Brad, when I went out to Boise on Tuesday and I saw them on the practice field, and I hadn't seen them in person, I was impressed. I thought physically they were much bigger and stronger and physical looking than I thought they would be. And I would go so far as to say I was at the championship game last year with Auburn and Oregon down on the field, and I think Boise State looks every bit as physical as Oregon to me, who played in the national championship game. They may not be as big man for man as an SEC team, but they were as big as the team that played for the national championship last year in Oregon.
They're living up to their number 5 ranking right now, that's for sure. Butler have an end-over-end job, and it will force a fair catch inside the 10 at the 8-yard line by Mitch Burrows. There's a penalty marker down, actually, and it's going to be offside. I wonder if this changes things. Offside on Boise State. That was on a 4th down and about 8, huh? That makes it 4th down and 2 or 3. Does Georgia go back on the field and say, let's take a crack at this thing? I mean, this might change things a lot.
It sure could.
Offside, number 15 of the receiving team. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Yep. Aaron Murray back on the field. The offense back on the field.
Here we go. When we said 4 down territory, that was about 4 plays ago, but just some strange circumstances have put us in this situation.
And if you're going to throw, if you're Aaron Murray, you better make sure Crowell knows his assignment, and you better not hold on to the football very long.
Big 4th down. Murray fires deep. Man open. Charles. Touchdown. .36 yards to who has been his favorite target since high school, Orson Charles. Whoa, what a difference a penalty makes, huh?
Well, that's what's called getting frozen if you're a safety. Travis Stanaway was totally frozen.
Extra point is good. And what looked like a dead dog is very much alive right now. 1:19 remaining in the 3rd quarter. And Georgia strikes following a big offside penalty. They go for it on 4th and short. And Aaron Murray hooks up with his favorite target for a touchdown.
Travis Stanaway is the safety who's in the ball game. All right, he's going to get frozen as Orson Charles runs the flag. Watch Stanaway just get flat-footed, and Charles is going to run right by him. Whoops. That's an easy throw for Aaron Murray. And again, the safety issues. Cedric Fabus not here. His backup, Jeremy Ione, is out of the game right now. They're into their 3rd safety and Travis Stanaway, and it cost him that time on 4th down.
(28-14). Charles with the new do, matching the all red jerseys. And now that sideline that Holly was talking about was so quiet, there's some life.
And it all started with the kickoff return by Boykin.
That's right.
You know, that got the energy going. And then the offense came through with a couple plays, and the key penalty on Boise State helped.
Blair Walsh on the kick. Martin at the 3. Martin, good boy. He took a shot, but he did get it out on a 23-yard return. Now can number 11 come out and just quiet this Georgia crowd right back down again with his efficiency. And look at the efficiency. One misfire. Other than that, you can tell why he's got a great quarterback rating.
And you know, coming into the game tonight, over the last 2 seasons, nobody has completed more passes of 20 yards or more than Kellen Moore, but he hasn't thrown the ball deep down the field tonight. It's been more nickel and dime and picking and choosing and some yards after the catch, but he hasn't missed the mark very much.
How can the Georgia defense make a play? Here's Harper. And Harper ekes out about 3 yards. It'll bring up second down at 7. There's Julie Moore, newlyweds, Kellen and the former Julie Wilson. Got married in the offseason. Kellen also graduated with a degree in communications in May, so he's in grad school. It's a lot to handle. Grad school, football, wife. You know, I don't know which one's harder or tougher. None of them are easy. Second down, 8. Georgia shifting defensively. Kellen Moore drops the throw over the middle again to a wide open Burrows. And he's got another first down. Let's check in with Holly.
The defenders are continuing to fall for the Georgia Bulldogs. Their nose tackle, Kwame Gathers, number 99, is over on the sideline. He's got a big ice pack up underneath his shoulder pads on his right shoulders. Guys, he's the man they were relying on to hold that point. So in his place, you see number 6, John Jenkins. He's a big man, but he is a JC transfer. This is his first football game at the Division I level. Let's see how he holds the point.
He's actually heavier than Kwame by a pound. 351 compared to 350.
He doesn't look as big with that number 6, though.
No, he doesn't.
The single-digit jersey. Not sure what he's going for there.
Trying to look slim.
That is the end of the third quarter.
Into 3. Boise State on the road. Georgia fans are hoping the fourth quarter brings them some magic. 28-14 Broncos.
ESPN College Football Primetime, Miami, Maryland, Monday at 8 on ESPN.
When you're looking for a twist, crack open a Bud Light Lime.
It's a fraction of the whole, but it's hard to control.
The great taste of Bud Light with a twist. Bud Light Lime. All the refreshment of Bud Light with a splash of 100% natural lime flavor. Bud Light Lime. It's Bud Light with a twist.
Applebee's 2 for $20 is fresher than ever.
Hey, Chris. Hi, Jesse.
Hey.
Ready to order?
Yep, 2 for $20. It's Applebee's freshest 2 for $20 yet, featuring new chicken fettuccine carbonara. Get 1 appetizer and 2 entrees for just $20. Only at Applebee's. Now serving half-price appetizers late night.
Nissan's bottom line sales event has been extended. With better availability than Honda or Toyota, you save. Get an additional $500 holiday bonus cash on popular models like Altima, $179 plus bonus cash. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Test drive at your local Nissan dealer today. More cars, bonus cash, more savings. Hurry, and September 5th.
You said you'd get me on the field.
I did get you on the field.
You are Brian Arakpo, all-pro linebacker. Surely you could do better than this.
Come on, sunshine. It's game time. Squad's waiting.
This is embarrassing, Brian. They've got me on the bottom of the pyramid.
You know what else is embarrassing? Paying too much for car insurance. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Introducing our largest LCD TV, the new 70-inch class from Sharp. The leader in the largest LCD TVs.
Enormous.
Big is too small a word for it. Aquas Quattron from Sharp.
Thanks to the Venture Card from Capital One, we get double miles on every purchase. So me and the labs earned a trip to San Francisco twice as fast. We get double miles every time we use our card. I'll take these two, no matter what we're buying. And all of those? And since double miles add up fast, we can bring the whole gang. It's hard to beat double miles.
Whoa, dude.
Get the Venture Card from Capital One and earn double miles on every purchase every day. Go to CapitalOne.com.
What's in your wallet?
American League Central rivals battle tomorrow night. White Sox looking to make up ground in the division. Will take on the Tigers on ESPN2's Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell as part of the hunt for October. 8 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow night. With Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe, I'm Brad Nessler at the Georgia Dome as we are set to start the fourth and final quarter. Georgia scored in that third, but Boise State got 2 big touchdown passes from Kellen Moore, and they've got a 2-score lead here and the ball in the final 15 minutes from their own 37-yard line. This guy has been almost perfect tonight. Mitch Burrows, the motion man. He's been a busy receiver tonight. They flip it out that way, complete it to Dallas Burrows. True freshman.
Well, that's Kellen Moore's 25th completion of the night. And only his longest gain has been 20 yards. Again, it's been a different attack this year without Titus Young and Austin Pettis and the big plays down the field. But he has spread the ball well to a lot of different receivers, and now we see Grant Hedrick back in on second down.
He's run effectively. 2 of the plays he's been in tonight. This time he gives it off to Harper. Harper bounces it outside. He's got a big gain. Sanders Cummings runs him out of bounds, but not before he got it to the 44-yard line of Georgia.
It's a nice job of DJ Harper bouncing it outside. I mean, he's going to go up in here and it's going to get stymied, and he bounces it out, and that's poor contain on the outside by Jordan Love, number 10. I mean, he's got to keep contained and keep that runner on his inside shoulder. And that was easy for Harper to bounce outside because of the bad angle of Jordan Love.
You got to feel good for DJ Harper, who tore his ACL last September 25th, a year and a week after he tore his ACL the year before against Fresno State. So here's a guy that's had back-to-back knee rehabs, and he's out there with a tough run to get his team a first down. The officials with a little committee meeting. And here's a call.
There is no foul for illegal substitution.
So they'll pick up the flag.
First down.
And let's check in with Reese.
All right, Brad, a studio update from the game on ABC. Oregon and LSU. LSU up by 10. The freshman, explosive player DeAnthony Thomas fumbles. He's put it on the ground a couple of times in this game. LSU got it, and perhaps, although I know Oregon typically is explosive, might have applied the knockout punch. Spencer Ware going in, and LSU has a 30-13 lead. Fourth quarter has just started on ABC.
So Oregon's got their work cut out for them. So do the Georgia Bulldogs. Boise State in command here with a 2-touchdown advantage. Kellen Moore flushed a little bit out of the pocket, throws on the run, and incomplete, broken up by Jordan Love. Oh, and a flag comes in late. Looked like he made a decent play, but got there a hair too early, maybe, with that left arm over the top.
Well, I thought it was a good play when I first watched it, and it was a good job by Jarvis Jones forcing Kellen Moore to leave the pocket and throw on the run.
Pass interference, number 10, defense. Automatic first down, 15-yard penalty.
And normally when this happens, as you watch the route, you get called if your backhand is on the receiver. But his right hand, there's the right hand. That's where the penalty was. He knocked the ball away with his left hand, but the right hand was grabbing the right shoulder, and the official had a perfect sight of that to make the call.
7th penalty against Georgia. And now Boise State closing in on the Georgia end of the field again inside the 30. Moore and around to Burrows. Good run by Burrows, who's been a big part of this offense tonight. He reminds me a little bit of a Wes Welker type of guy. He was all over the place.
You know, we've said so much about Kellen Moore and what he's done, but we should also tip our hat a little bit to Brent Peace, the offensive coordinator. In his first year, he's been the wide receiver coach here for the last 5 years, and he took over for Brian Harsin, who succeeded Chris Peterson as the offensive coordinator. There's Brent. And Harsin went to Texas, and Brent Peace went to Indiana for 5 days and then came back to be the coordinator here.
Hedrick again will hand it off this time to Harper, and no gain on this one. Avery Jones made the stop. Time becoming a factor here with 12:35 remaining. Boise State's never beaten an SEC team. 0-4 against SEC opponents. Lost to Arkansas a couple of times. Georgia, we mentioned 6 years ago, and South Carolina. But that stuff was all 5 years or more, and they've won 61 games out of 66 since then. So you can put that stat to bed, I think, if you're an SEC fan, because this team is all it's cracked up to be so far. And on this night, and now Harper on the way to the end zone, all the way to the 2.
Well, they really outflanked the Georgia defense that time. They brought motion with the tight end. They had both tight ends on that side of the field, both Efall and Linehan. They have big Nate Potter, number 73, their best offensive lineman over there, and they outnumbered the Georgia defense on that power sweep.
Now it's 1st and goal at the 1 after a 17-yard pickup. Moore with Harper to his right. Will pitch it to him. Harper, easy walk to the end zone. Touchdown. And the Boise fans that made the trip from the west to the southeast are pretty happy right now.
Wow. Now that's an impressive answer by the Boise State Broncos. And if there's any question, are they legit? Are they in the upper echelon, the elite of college football? Absolutely.
76 more yards in 4:42. And they make it 35-14. Now Georgia has got a ton of work to do, because the Broncos from Boise State are on their way to a big opening season win. The SEC on ESPN continues from the Georgia Dome in a minute.
Ready for this?
Game's over. Guess they killed Craig and Harris.
Close the town.
Everybody gets found.
Killer Elite, rated R, September 23rd.
Emily, check this out. Oh my gosh.
Register for a free breakfast entree, redeemable September 6th through 10th. Visit ChickFilAForBreakfast.com.
Every day, 41 kids learn that they have cancer. Since 1998, Hyundai's Hope on Wheels has raised more than $43 million to help. In fact, local Hyundai dealers make a donation for every car sold. Of course, you don't have to buy a Hyundai to make a difference. Just visit HyundaiHopeOnWheels.org to lend a hand and give a little hope, no matter what wheels you drive.
Welcome to the team. Here's your signing bonus.
Better deposit that before you get hurt.
Oh, State Farm Bank's Pocket Agent lets you deposit checks right from your phone. You just shoot, send, done. Boom. Give it up!
Another reason more people stay with State Farm. Get to a better state.
Emily, check this out. Oh my gosh.
Register for a free breakfast entree, redeemable September 6th through 10th. Visit ChickFilAForBreakfast.com.
Well, that's going to do it for the 9 o'clock hour right here on ESPNU. Switch over to ESPN as College Game Day continues.
Well, let's go, guys. 10 o'clock. Come on. Hurry up. Get on up there. Aaron, you forgot your purse.
That's not a purse. That's a satchel. Yeah, he's big in Europe right now, but you wouldn't know about that.
No, I would not.
ESPN College Game Day, built by the Home Depot. Saturdays at 9 a.m. on ESPNU, continues at 10 a.m. on ESPN.
Dejected Georgia sideline. They trail 35-14 with 11:37 remaining in the ball game. After another 76-yard Boise State drive, Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator over there, not that particular position, but he's on the sideline still trying to coach him up. But this is the most points Georgia's given up in a season opener in a long time. And they did such a great job in the first quarter, and then things started to explode on them. And you have to go back to 1974, the last time they gave up this many points in an opener. And that was against Oregon State. This is the highest ranked team, in fact, Georgia's played in a season opener since 1965. But they beat defending champion Alabama in that one in Vince Dooley's second season. Doesn't look like that's going to occur here tonight unless there's some sort of miraculous comeback in the next 11 minutes and 37 seconds. Brandon Boykin, he's provided some of their only sparks tonight. Trying to get something lit here as well. And he's got another nice return as he's run out of bounds on the far sideline after a 25-yard run back. Georgia, we talked about the guys that are no longer here. Rashawn Ely transferred. Caleb King, academically ineligible, went to the supplemental draft and starred for the Vikings the other night in their preseason game. And Carlton Thomas suspended for this one game. So they came in with a true freshman, Isaiah Crowell, who showed up pretty well, and Richard Samuel, a converted former tailback turned linebacker turned tailback again. So that was one of the tough spots. They only really have two backs tonight. Even though Samuel's been hobbled at times, he's back out there trying to block for Murray on this first down pass. Deep down the middle, incomplete. Tavares King, the closest guy, but George Iloka, the safety, is all over it.
No, I would say that the issue rests a little bit more with the Georgia offensive line than the backs that are here or not here. You know, last year they ran for 143 yards a game. That was 73rd in the nation. If you want to win in the SEC, you've got to run the football a little bit better. And Georgia has such a rich history and tradition of being able to run the football.
Yep.
And, yeah, they're a little bit decimated at that position right now, but offensive line-wise, they had their hands full tonight with this Boise State front four.
Murray fires, completes. And that was Malcolm Mitchell, a true freshman. Coming up next, Sports Center will follow us. All the scores and highlights from college football. And we're done here. Sports Center currently on ESPN News. There's the loss of a lineman. Denarius Gates, one of the starters who was shaken up tonight for Georgia. Murray fires, complete. Nice throw. And a heck of a catch by Rantavius Wooten. He had a guy draped all over him and still made the grab. Pick up a 14. Aaron Murray, a touchdown and 144 yards, but an interception that was really costly late in the second quarter that led to a Bronco touchdown going in before the half.
If you're Georgia here, I mean, you don't give up on this. And even if some of the fans or a lot of the fans decide to leave and go on with the rest of their evening, you still have work to do here if you're the Bulldogs.
Murray trying to work it deep middle. What a strike! You're right, touchdown. Malcolm Mitchell. It's not over yet. That was a laser shot to Mitchell, the freshman.
Murray's going to hang in there under pressure, and Malcolm Mitchell has great speed. Aaron Murray said, I can throw it as far as I want to this guy, and I'm not going to outthrow him. And that was a beautiful throw by Murray for the touchdown.
69 yards in a hurry. The capper to Malcolm Mitchell from Murray. So there's still life in the Georgia Dome with the Dogs. They cut the deficit down to 35-21.
Linens and duvet washed fresh for every guest. Real value from your friends at Hampton.
Every day, 41 kids learn that they have cancer. Since 1998, Hyundai's Hope on Wheels has raised more than $43 million to help. In fact, local Hyundai dealers make a donation for every car sold. Of course, you don't have to buy a Hyundai to make a difference. Just visit HyundaiHopeOnWheels.org to lend a hand and give a little hope, no matter what wheels you drive.
We didn't just add guacamole, bacon, and Swiss to a burger. We added it to a Whopper. Enjoy the California Whopper and California Whopper Jr. sandwiches. Only.
This is a public announcement. CNNMoney.com reports that in some areas of the country, buyers are scooping up homes for as little as $1,000. Foreclosures are at an all-time high. Government and private banks are liquidating these homes now. If you currently rent a house or apartment, you may call now and learn how to receive your free list of these homes. All others may call tomorrow. Every house must be sold. This is a public announcement.
Call 1-800-290-1687. That's 1-800-290-1687.
Time Warner Cable presents.
Hello, Mary. Is this a joke? Who lived in my apartment?
Rose Lazar. She killed herself.
Don't ever leave. You think I'm crazy?
The Caller. Watch it on demand. The same time it's available in theaters. Order movies on demand with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. And watch what you want instantly.
In America.
The 2011 Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Hyundai. If it's fuel efficient, affordable, stylish, and safe, it's probably a Hyundai.
Well, about 4 seconds after my partners said that Georgia's got to keep grinding, Aaron Murray hit Malcolm Mitchell for a 51-yard touchdown. 35-21. Georgia, so many times last year in their 7 losses, they were in it in the fourth quarter and couldn't finish the drill, as they used to say around Athens. They got a lot of drilling left to do, but there's still hope.
Still a lot of work to do. And right now, their defense has got to step up. They've got to tackle the backs, anticipating Boise State's going to want to run to eat some clock. And I think they got to go after Kellen Moore.
Walsh. Kick is deep. That'll help their cause. Bobble in the end zone, so there's not going to be a return by Martin. And that'll put Boise State at the 20-yard line, where Kellen Moore takes over.
Well, Kellen Moore has thrown 3 touchdown passes tonight, and he's had a pretty clean night in the pocket. 25 of 30. He hasn't been sacked yet. The one time that Georgia got pressure on him, he threw an interception, but for the most part, he's been spotless. And I just think Georgia now has to say, you know what? We're going to have to just guard these guys man to man. And if they throw, we got to go after this quarterback and see if we can make him make a mistake. Because it hasn't worked giving him time.
Let's see what happens from the 20. With 10:15 to play in the fourth quarter. Play action for Moore. They do bring some heat, but it's a middle toss to Martin, and he spins for a first down and a bunch more.
Brent Peace is just one step ahead. I mean, you know, that's a perfect call. Georgia says, hey, we're going to dial it up. We're going to come after him. So he anticipates that. He draws the rush in, and he throws a middle screen. Brent Peace said, you know, I asked him, I said, what's your signature going to be on this offense? Your little fingerprint. He says, I don't know. He says, I've always been a little bit more of a screen guy than the guys before me. Well,
17 yards later.
Yeah.
It's a first down at the 36. Georgia again try to bring some pressure. This time a run blitz, and Martin's got 3 more. John Jenkins, the nose tackle, made the stop.
See, Boise wants to run the football and use as much clock as they can right now. There's 9.5 minutes left in the game, and they've got a 2-score lead. So Kellen Moore's not going to be in any hurry right now. They're not going to get complacent, and I don't think you'll see him get ultra conservative, but they're going to use as much clock as they possibly can in between plays.
Total yardage a little bit deceiving when you look at the scoreboard. It's close, but the scoreboard's still a 2-touchdown difference. Second down and 7. Moore wants a quick slant. He got it, and complete for a first down to Matt Miller, who had the first touchdown of the night for the Broncos.
Kellen Moore is accurate even when he doesn't set his feet. I mean, he threw that thing backing up. He never stopped to set his feet. He just kind of jumped and threw it, and you can't throw it any better than he did.
Certainly nothing imposing about him when you see him without the pads. He looked like he could do a remake of Leave It to Beaver or something, but right now he's chewing through the Georgia defense here in this fourth quarter. Ooh, almost another face mask penalty, but nice tough run on the inside for 8 yards for Martin.
You know, you use the word tough and a tough run. That's what I'm most impressed with about this team. They are a tough football team.
Yeah.
I mean, they're tough on their offensive defensive line. Doug Martin is a tough runner. Kellen Moore is a mentally and physically tough quarterback. I mean, they are a tough football team. They're not as big or as fast as some of these other major college powers, but I'll guarantee you they're every bit as tough as anybody in college football.
Second down at 2 under 8 minutes to play. Georgia needs a stop there, and they got it on Martin. No gain on the play. You know what, Boise State, if they win this game, they're going to become the Georgia Bulldogs' biggest fans the rest of the year. They'd love to see the Dogs run the table because Baylor beat TCU. TCU's the toughest team, or supposedly we're going to be a ranked tough team on their schedule down the line. They'd like to keep going up in the rankings, not backwards. Big third down. Can Georgia come up? As Todd said a couple of minutes ago, they need to step up to the plates.
You see Kellen Moore keeping that team in the huddle until the play clock is under 10.
Here's a toss. Can Georgia come up with a stop? Martin, he got it. Nice run. He put a stiff arm out there to give himself a little breathing room. And then he dives over that marker for the first down.
They stayed in the huddle a long time, then they came up to the line and quick snapped it, and Martin was able to get to the edge and get the tough first down.
He actually didn't get anything on that stiff arm, but he got an arm out there, and the Georgia tackler couldn't reach him. And now an all-important first down. And after an entire night of no huddles, as Todd said, smart quarterback, smart team, using all of the huddle and the clock that they can with a 2-touchdown advantage. And now Kellen Moore's going to.
Boise State, that is their first charge timeout of this half.
6:33 in the game. It looks like it's Boise State's game to have. We'll find out when we come back.
ESPN College Football Primetime, Miami, Maryland, Monday at 8 on ESPN.
Introducing the 60 Seconds of Mayhem Sweepstakes. You could win a new car and kick a field goal at the All-State BCS National Championship for a boat, motorcycle, RV, and a home makeover. January 9th is gonna be mayhem. Will you be there? Enter at allstatecfb.com.
Every day, 41 kids learn that they have cancer. Since 1998, Hyundai's Hope on Wheels has raised more than $43 million to help. In fact, local Hyundai dealers make a donation for every car sold. Of course, you don't have to buy a Hyundai to make a difference. Just visit HyundaiHopeOnWheels.org to lend a hand and give a little hope, no matter what wheels you drive.
And if things change, we can always discuss your loan options.
You never know.
Twins.
Twins?
City Financial is now One Main Financial. Personalized loan solutions that still focus on you.
You ready for this? I just signed the whole family up for unlimited mobile-to-mobile minutes.
You're kidding. No. Where's that money coming from, Steve? Did it even cross your mind to ask your wife before signing us up for something so expensive? My mother was right. I should have married John Clark.
They were free. I got them when I signed us up for unlimited messaging.
Get more value from AT&T. Buy an unlimited messaging plan and call any U.S. mobile phone free. AT&T.
Tomorrow, Ford drivers gear up for the Sprint Summer Showdown, where they will do anything to win $3 million and change one fan's life. As Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Paul Menard, and Marcos Ambrose fight for the cash, drivers on the bubble battle for their postseason lives. Winning means more in Atlanta, and nothing beats first place. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Atlanta, tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN, presented by Pennzoil.
Back at the Georgia Dome, kind of alluded to this a little bit about the top teams in the top 4 in the Associated Press. Oklahoma #1 having an easy time tonight. Alabama, a big winner over Kent State today. But you look at the teams that they have to play, ranked teams all the way along the list. Now Oregon still trying to hang in there with LSU, but if LSU wins that, Oregon is probably out of the national championship picture. With all that in mind, here's TCU leading an SEC team in an SEC backyard. Boise State leading Georgia by 2 touchdowns. And Todd, that always is going to bring up the conversation about, okay, could they do this every week if they played in the SEC, meaning Boise State?
Yeah, I don't know if you can answer that question, because to play in the SEC week in and week out, you need depth. And the simple reality is Boise doesn't have the same quality or level of depth that the top upper level SEC teams do. But in terms of can they line up and play physically with anybody in this league on any given Saturday? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Alabama, LSU, Florida. I don't care who you line them up against. Because tonight, they've been the physically superior team over Georgia.
Here's a screen again to Martin. Going to get blasted from behind by Garrison Smith, but a pickup of about 6. And again, as I said a couple of minutes ago, it isn't going to help Boise State's cause too much, even though they're ranked number 5 and they're impressive tonight. They don't have anybody left on their schedule once the BCS comes out the first week of October to boost them up there. Remember, they got as high as number 3 in the BCS last year. By the time they played Nevada and lost in overtime, they were down to 4. So they went backwards, actually. But this is a great way to start the season if you're planning on trying to run the table and win a national title. They got a 5-minute drive going, too, when Georgia needs the ball back and can't get it. But they need a stop on 3rd and 10, or the lights are going to be out here. Georgia loads up everybody in the middle. And here they come. The pass is incomplete. So finally, the clock stops.
Well, and Kellen Moore says, you know what? We didn't need points here. We did what we wanted to do. Stay in the huddle and eat clock. And as you mentioned it, 5-minute drive. No points to show for it. But Georgia needs to score 2 touchdowns. So we did our job on offense by cutting the time in half.
And Elkins did a nice job of that rugby-style punt of keeping it out of the hands of number 1. Brandon Smith counting his troops in front of him, but he'd like to get his hands on a punt return and maybe make some electricity like Brandon Boykin did early in the ball game. This time he's just going to get rid of the kick, and it's going to be a fair catch inside the 10. So nice punt. Georgia is 90+ yards away, and they need 2 touchdowns. Don't forget, American League Central rivals, the White Sox and the Tigers, get together on ESPN2 Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, part of the hunt for October. 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night.
Well, partner, there was an SEC team earlier today that was 10 points down with about 4 minutes and some change.
Yeah.
Team that happened to win the national championship last year that scored, recovered an onside kick, and scored again to win.
They did it on the Plains. Can they do it here in the Dome?
For Utah State, not quite as strong an opponent, I don't think, as Boise State.
This is the worst starting field position at the worst time for Aaron Murray and Georgia at their own 9-yard line. He hooked up with Malcolm Mitchell for a 51-yard touchdown. The last time they fired one. This time it's complete to Malcolm Mitchell. Got to hustle. Everything's got to be quick now for Georgia. Should they be able to somehow get a touchdown, you'd think, as Todd said, much like Auburn, there'd be an onside kick, and maybe we would have a fantastic finish.
Well, you'd have to onside kick if you score, because Boise just proved they can eat 5 minutes off the clock.
Without even trying, almost. Now everybody's standing up for the Broncos. They don't even have a guy with a hand down. Murray fires complete. Now you want to get what you can and get out of bounds, although Samuel has it stripped from him, but he did get decent yardage after the catch. Pick up at 19, and that's Richard Samuel's best play of the night. So Crowell comes in to take his spot.
And again, if you're Aaron Murray, you better make sure Isaiah knows his blocking assignment in these pass situations. Boise State's only going to rush 4.
Crowell now an end around coming to Mitchell, looking for a block. Got the corner. Mitchell gets across midfield. He's down to the 47-yard line. First down. 17-yard end around. So number 26, a true freshman from Valdosta, showing up well here in this 4th quarter. they're in Boise State territory, and there's 3:35 to play. Aaron Murray in the gun. Flushed from the pocket, throws on the run, in and out of the hands this time, and zipped right through Mitchell's hands. That'll stop the clock at 3:21.
The thing you got to think about here if you're Aaron Murray too is you can't afford a sack. You know, if it's not there, either throw it away or scramble and get some positive yardage. And the clock is working against you at all times. But a negative play, a big sack, would be very difficult.
You got 3 plays here, you know that much.
Yep.
2nd down and 10. Boise State shows blitz off the corner. They back out of that. Murray steps up in the pocket, throws over the head of the intended receiver. That one is high, intended for Orson Charles. And now it brings up 3rd and 10. As we said, this is 4-down territory. It's the end of the ball game, final 3 minutes.
I'm not so sure I wouldn't even, although it looks like Samuel's back in. If Boise State is dropping into zone coverage here, I wouldn't be so opposed to just dumping it to the back and seeing if he can catch a short one and run for another 1st down.
Murray fires complete. Charles, he's short of the 1st down, but he got about 8 of the 10 they needed. And we're down to 3 minutes to play. Georgia trailing by 2 touchdowns, trying to rally here. That was somehow pull off a miracle.
Well, this is the play of the game right now for Georgia. They've got to convert. They got to convert, then they got to get back to the line and get going again because the clock is under 2 minutes and 45 seconds now.
Play of the game. 4th down. Dogs need a play here. Murray fires high and completes. Tavares King had to go airborne, and Murray on the deck. If that one is 6 inches lower, it's a 1st down throw. He's shaken up on the play as well.
Now this is just an errant throw. Pressure was coming, but he didn't get down on that throw. He knew he was going to get hit, and that ball sailed on him. Now Tavares King has missed a couple tonight that he should have caught, but that's a throw that should have been better by Aaron Murray.
And you see not only the pain of the hit, but the pain of what looks like a lost cause for the Georgia Bulldogs in their season opener.
And how fitting for Boise State. The guy who got the hit on the quarterback on 4th down, Tommy Smith,
is from Atlanta.
Right around the corner.
Now Kellen Moore and the Broncos have just 2.5 minutes to ice things and pick up a huge win in their season opener. So timeout here with 2:29 left. Boise State with a 2-touchdown advantage.
Their 2nd charge timeout. Media timeout.
I have cancer. I'm gonna throw up. Come on, let's just do it. What do you use this for?
Your body tremors, so. What is that?
You think that a girl's gonna go for me because I have cancer?
Yes!
Nice. Can I touch it?
You can do more than touch it. I gotta go to sleep.
We have to be awake when they're awake. That's how we have sex.
Can you give me an approximate time when I'll be having sex?
95 minutes from now.
50-50. Rated R. In theaters September 30th.
Hey guys, the reviews are in on Cars.com.
Really? What'd they say?
Well, let's see. It says Sheila looks great, topless.
What's so funny?
Nothing. Nothing.
And it says here Hank's a real gas guzzler.
You hear that, Hank?
Whatever.
Hey, what about me?
It says your ride is very smooth.
Aw, yeah. Hear that, Sheila?
Never gonna happen.
With consumer and expert reviews, confidence comes standard.
See? Just like the review said. Big rear end.
Excuse me?
For breakfast, try our spicy chicken biscuit.
So your policy looks good. Is there anything else?
Why'd you buy my husband a Falcon?
Thanks for the Falcon. I didn't buy anyone a Falcon.
Sure you did.
Saved us a lot of money on auto insurance.
I used that money to buy a Falcon. Ergo, you bought me a Falcon.
You should get a Falcon.
Most people who switch to State Farm save on average
About $480. What they do with it, well,
that's their business.
Oh, that explains a lot, actually.
Another reason people switch to State Farm.
I could have got a Falcon.
Get to a better state.
Sports Center is coming your way in about 2.5 minutes. John Anderson and Linda Cohn are standing by. John going to give you all the scores and highlights, not just of college football, but everything that's going on. I'm not sure President's good, but maybe Heisman Trophy. They'll talk about that. He finished in the top 4 last year, and he certainly hasn't disappointed the Bronco fans who think that he might get a trip back to New York again this year.
And this is probably the most highest visibility that he'll have the rest of the way out.
Yep.
So this was a big stage for him tonight.
Here's an end around. Dallas Burrows hit just after he got across the line of scrimmage by Sanders Cummings. Georgia down to 1 timeout, and
Georgia.
There it goes.
That is their 3rd and final timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. Todd?
Well, it was really Kellen Moore's drive right before the half that kind of set the tone for this game. He threw a touchdown at the end of this, and for the night, and Kellen Moore has completed 82% of his passes to 9 different receivers. That's remarkable. And again, let's remember, this guy lost 2 guys last year that both caught 71 passes. One was a 2nd-round draft pick. The other one was a 3rd-round draft pick. And the guy that was supposed to be his big go-to, big play receiver this year stayed home in Boise.
Yep.
And one of the 3 players that was left behind. So what he's done tonight against what I think is at least a very athletic defense, a defense that needs to play better, but very athletic and big and physical. What Kellen Moore did tonight was spectacular.
See if Georgia can come up with a play here. Did they put it in the air? They won't. Doug Martin would like to strip that ball out of there, and Martin, wow, what a run. Didn't get the first down. That's as good a run as you're going to see tonight. Let's check in with Reese Davis.
Brad, a game just cranking up on ESPN2. Hawaii and Colorado. Buffs with new head coach John Embry. Brian Moniz of Hawaii led the nation in passing yards and total offense. Well, that's going to help the total this year. Moniz takes it 55 yards, and Hawaii's on top of the Buffs, 10-0. Again, the game's on ESPN2.
Here we're down at 2:01 remaining and a 4th down. Christian Robinson was the guy shaken up for Georgia on that last play. And the punter comes out. Well, it would take a Brandon Smith punt return to give Georgia any kind of chance to win this, because they're out of timeouts. Look behind Elkin as he's going to let that clock go down as far as he can on a 4th down before he kicks it away. And with 1:20 left, kicks a knuckleball. Brandon Smith's going to have to back away from it, and it's inside the 10 again. So his 6th punt that he's knocked inside the 20, and everything really worked well tonight, I think, for Boise State, Todd, with the exception of that one misfire by Kellen Moore, the interception. Other than that, they've proven that they can come into SEC country in Georgia's backyard and take one home back to Idaho, and it's a big one.
It is a big one, and I'm impressed. I mean, I was impressed when I went out there Tuesday and watched them practice, how physical they looked, their tempo in practice, how well organized Chris Peterson and his staff were. They're an impressive football team, and I can't stress enough the fact that not just Kellen Moore and his leadership, 25 seniors, 18 of those seniors are 5th-year guys, so they're grown men who have played a lot of football and won a bunch of football games at Boise State, and they were not intimidated at all coming into this environment to play Georgia.
Aaron Murray with a couple of last gasps, and that might be the last one. We'll say at about the 2-foot line, Shea McClellan ran him over like a bulldozer. 5th sack of the night for a team that led the nation in sacks a year ago. Aaron Murray just barely avoided a safety there. So Georgia backed up to its one. They need a 99-yard miracle and an onside kick and another miracle. And Orson Charles drops a catchable ball, and that's the story. Now, as you look ahead, Mark Richt, I live in this state, and I know one thing. If South Carolina beats Georgia next week and they start 0-2, you talk about hot seat for a head coach. He's going to feel like they're cooking lobsters under his rear end. It's just going to be that way. And again, that Boise State defense all over Georgia after a short gain on the play by Orson Charles. So all the hope and the hope and prayers, I guess, of the Georgia Bulldog fans around here to open up the season against a higher ranked team who was favored. It's going to go all for naught.
But you know what? The #1 goal for Georgia is to win the SEC East.
Right.
Okay, and that starts next week. I mean, yeah, this is disappointing, but the real season for Georgia starts next week in Athens.
Boise State, after a 12-1 finish last year, their lone blemish and overtime loss to Nevada, they come into SEC country, and boy, the folks that made the trip in their blue and orange are some happy campers. They're about the only ones left in the Georgia Dome, by the way. The rest of the Georgia fans that were dressed in red are now disguised as red seats here where the Falcons play their home games.
Well, this was a great environment tonight. The folks at Chick-fil-A and the Bowl ought to be proud. This is a nice ball game, a great event. A wonderful time last night at the aquarium.
Sure did.
Checking out the beluga whales while we ate steak. That was pretty nice.
At least it wasn't a seafood dinner.
Yeah.
Well, Boise State, they did some eating tonight as they chew up Georgia. First win over an SEC team ever. As Chris Peterson and Mark Richt meet at midfield, and a big, big win and a great way to start for the Broncos on the season. 35-21 over Georgia. Could it be their chance to run the string, run the table, and maybe win a national championship? They got a lot of work left to do, but they're off to a good start. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, I'm with Kellen Moore, and Kellen, your offense really started to pick up in the second half. What created that rhythm for you and your receivers?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of tempo. I think we really got in that no huddles stuff, and you know, really just getting positive yards, positive run plays, getting completions, moving it down the field, and you know, it would kind of take a while, you know, 4-quarter game, and that's how it happened.
You had some new faces at wide receiver. How hard was it to have faith in them early and get in that rhythm?
Oh, it's fun. We're not perfect. We got a few you know, mistakes, a turnover where that's on me, and you got to learn from those things and get better.
A lot of people thought your lines might be overmatched just from a size standpoint tonight. How do you describe the play, both your offensive and defensive lines?
I think Thomas did all right against the big boy. So, hey, they've been playing for a while. They know how to play. They do a great job, and you know, we knew they'd be a talented team, and that's the case.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Now he's talking about Thomas Byrd, his center, all of 5'11", going against those big nose tackles, and his wife can smile now. Be a nice weekend, I'm sure, the rest of the Labor Day at the Morehouse, after her husband puts up Heisman-type statistics in the opening win of the season for the Broncos of Boise State. 35-21 is the final. That's going to wrap it up for Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew. From Atlanta, Brad Nessler saying good night. Sports Center with John and Linda is next.
This Sports Center telecast is brought to you in high definition by Vizio.
LSU. LSU is going to stay in the top 5. They're going to be dreaming of a home game in the BCS championship.
This is Sports Center.
We head to Cowboy Stadium. Brett Musburger and Kirk Herbstreit on the keys to Oregon's loss to LSU, plus full post-game coverage of Boise State's big win over Georgia. Defending national champs almost upset in a thrilling finish. Defending national champs almost upset in a thrilling finish against Utah State. The Buckeyes blanked Akron in Luke Fickell's debut, plus weather issues at the Big House and in South Bend as Notre Dame gets upset. Robbie Cano helps carry the Yankees by the Blue Jays, but could New York extend their lead on the Red Sox in the AL East? With 2 races to go until the chase, Tony Stewart's sweating a spot, but how he plans to cool off in Atlanta. Sports Center, why wait? And thanks for tuning into Sports Center along with John Anderson. Yes. I am Linda Cohn. The first Saturday of the college football season did not disappoint.
This is for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
That being said, let's go to the top matchup of the day. Oregon, LSU at Cowboys Stadium. And how about the Tigers rolling through the Ducks? Michael Ford's 16-yard TD run made it 40-20. Ducks had a late score here, 13 seconds to go. As soon as it's finished, we've got complete highlights for you and a trip down to Cowboys Stadium to hear from Brent Musburger and Kirk Herbstreit.
The defending national champs Auburn saved their best for last against Utah State.
First team ever in the BCS here to win a BCS championship game one year and have a losing record the next year. This is one of the few games this season they're going to be favored in.
I'll tell you, if Auburn doesn't win the game big, it's going to be an awful long year.
Mark May and Lou Holtz talking about Auburn's season. They said that Friday. Utah State down 4 in the fourth. Chucky Keaton, the freshman QB. The QB draw. Keaton's second rush touchdown of the game. Threw for 213 yards. Later in the fourth, same score, 4th and 3. Field goal for Utah State. It's a fake Stanley Morrison to DJ Tialava'a. First down Aggies on the gutsy play. Tialava'a will get his hands under the ball to make the clean catch for the first down. After a review, the pass is ruled complete. Now 2 plays later, Robert Turbin with a carry up the middle, touchdown. Aggies up 10 with just over 3 minutes to go. Auburn came in. Where are you guys going? They came in as a 3-touchdown favorite. Auburn, again, down 10, 3 minutes left. Trotter to Emery Blake, a gain of 21. Trotter channeling his inner Cam Newton, finding Trevante Stallworth, who makes his way upfield. This is a big game. Stallworth will head out of bounds. Xavier Martin, though, is going to get called for the late hit right there. Oh, that's a big boo-boo. They had another 15 yards after the penalty. Later in the drive, Trotter to Lutzenkirchen. Philip Lutzenkirchen in the corner, touchdown. Auburn within 3. 3 TDs by Trotter. Auburn, onside kick, Chandler Brooks. The perfect kick to the left. Blake, are you kidding me? Recovering it and running downfield, but it's a dead ball after the recovery. But listen, Auburn will take it. Take another look at how they play this perfectly. The onside kick, Brooks, the great height on the kick, and Blake in perfect position to recover the kick. 4 Aggies in his way, but he still comes up with a ball. So we have 1st and 10 from their 44-yard line, and Trotter. Nobody panic. He finds Stallworth across the middle. First down. Later in the drive, it's that man again. Lutzenkirchen in the flats. Trotter finds him. Another first down. 2nd and 10 this time. Trotter handing off to Ontario McCaleb on the draw. McCaleb taking a big hit near the goal line. 14-yard gain. And then the BCS title game MVP, Michael Dyer, up the middle. The official signal a touchdown. Can we take another look? The play, of course, would be reviewed. The close call, but Dyer will get in with a go-ahead touchdown, and he does so with just 30 seconds left. Auburn, a great comeback win, so what else is new? But Coach Gene Chizik was not all smiles after the comeback win.
You know, anytime you can get a win, no matter how you get it, you know, you have to be pleased with that. You know, I was pleased, you know, with a very young team, you know, being able to fight through a lot of adversity and, you know, persevere through times that didn't look very good, to be honest with you. Just didn't play well. I think it was very evident that the most experienced part of our football team was our special teams. I don't think there's any question that offensively and defensively we're a long way off of being able to win very many games.
Auburn has yet another close call, but it extends the nation's longest win streak to 16 games. Nearly half of those wins have come by 5 points or fewer. One of those wins was a 3-point victory over Mississippi State last season. That's Auburn's opponent, oh, by the way, next week.
All right, though not dressed like it, these teams are Boise State and Georgia's. You see, those guys, those guys are stormtroopers, and the other fellows were Power Rangers. Herschel Walker is there. That's got to be a good sign. And Evander Holyfield, we're going to knock you out. I'm all excited about this. First quarter score. Let's keep your eye on Georgia cornerback Brandon Boykin. First career offensive play. Boykin's in motion, gets the handoff from Aaron Murray. The block, and that's very Herschel-like. 80 yards. I don't care if you're dressed up like a Power Ranger. Look at that kid scoot.
Cherry red.
Fight song for him. Look at it again. We're going to employ the ESPN Access. I mean, the only problem with that is that's your first career play. You know, after that, it's going to take a lot to keep up with that. You know, at some point, you're just going to have 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But as you see, we got a clock on him, and he's quick sometimes. Look at him. I mean, he's violating speed limits in some school zones. 7-0 in favor of the Bulldogs. Later in the first, there you see him, Kellen Moore, fine quarterback for the Broncos. Many thought he was a senior and had graduated. No, he's back. Here he is, Matt Miller, 100th career TD pass for Moore. We are tied at 7 into the second frame. Boise State still 7 apiece, second 11, Moore. Kyle Efaw, fight in there, big fella. Come on and get you some. Ref's got his hands up in the air. That's a touchdown, 14-7, third quarter. Still a touchdown margin for the visitors from Idaho. Moore pitching to Doug Martin, little stiff arm. He's in for the score. One more time, Martin just jukes Smith. Brandon Smith got a little hand and some faceage thing going on there. 21-7. Later in the third, Chris Botter returning the punt for Boise State from the 23. Getting a few blocks. It's early. Got to be sound in the kicking game. Reese Davis preaches that all the time. Early season, these are the kind of things that happen. 49-yard punt return later in the drive. You're going to have 3rd and 2 from the 3. They march it down inside the 5. Moore threads the needle to Tyler Shoemaker for the touchdown. Boise State's going to win this thing 35-31. Afterwards, the winning quarterback, Kellen Moore, with our Holly Rowe.
What created that rhythm for you and your receivers?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of tempo. I think we really got in that no huddles stuff and, you know, really just getting positive yards, positive run plays, getting completions, moving it down the field. And, you know, it would kind of take a while, you know, 4-quarter game, and that's how it happened.
You had some new faces at wide receiver. How hard was it to have faith in them early and get in that rhythm?
Oh, it's fun. We're not perfect. We got a few, you know, mistakes, a turnover where that's on me, and you got to learn from those things and get better.
A lot of people thought your lines might be overmatched just from a size standpoint tonight. How do you describe the play, both your offensive and defensive lines?
I think Thomas did all right against the big boy. So, hey, they've been playing for a while. They know how to play. They do a great job, and you know, we knew they'd be a talented team, and that's the case.
Boise State continues to prove it can play with anybody, anytime, any place. You just wish there were more anybody's on that schedule every once in a while. Over the last 4 seasons, the Broncos have played 8 games against non-conference ranked opponents. They have won 7. See, part of the problem is you don't want to schedule these suckers. They'll knock your teeth out. Only loss coming by 1 point in a bowl game versus TCU. All right, they're finished up. Let's show you the whole shooting match down there at Cowboy Stadium. 3rd-ranked Oregon, number 4 LSU. Cowboy Stadium. Natch, look at old Loopy Les. He's in there ready to go despite all the suspension problems he's got from his kids outside that bar fight. It's still to be settled. First quarter, we're tied at 3. New starter Jarrett Lee has some trouble there. We may have lost the snap count or some confusion where at the center. That ball bounces around, squirts. Oregon eventually recovers it, leads to a field goal, 6-3 Ducks. Second quarter, Brad Wing punting it away on 4th down, but that is a good high punt. Nearly 5 seconds of hang time, and Kenyon Barner gets turned around as he backpedals and fumbles it. Tyrann Mathieu got it. Look at it again. He punts it up there by that big video board. There's the hang time counting down, and that gives the Gunners plenty of time to come down and wreak some havoc. Barner gives it up. Mathieu right there to take it in. Extra point no good here, so instead of 7, they get 6. 9-6 LSU. Third quarter, 3-point game. LaMichael James has his ankle stepped on by LSU's Arkevius Mingo. Not good for him. He'd have to leave the game momentarily. In all, the Ducks, though, just 95 yards rushing. They were 4th in the FBS last year. Punting again. Wing. Barner going back. How's your kicking game? Is it sound? You're inside the 5. Son, you got to let that one go. They get him down at the 5. Barner leaves the game. Oregon without their top 2 running backs and kick returners as he gets turned around awkwardly. DeAnthony Thomas, the freshman's in. Tries to carry it up the middle, and guess what? He gives up the rock, and right to Eric Reed. Catches the loose ball midair. LSU got the ball in the 21. Now you got to turn that into points. They just ground out this victory. Tigers, here's some respect. Michael Ford, 5-yard touchdown run. Is 23-13 LSU. Ensuing kickoff. DeAnthony Thomas now returning. He's got a lot of duty for this guy. Good return, but Craig Loston strips it. LSU's got that one. 2 fumbles on consecutive touches for Thomas, and Lee gonna make him pay. Up top, D'Angelo Peterson inside the 10. LSU gonna score in this one, going to win it by a count of 40-27, a decisive win. Let's go to Brent Musburger, Kirk Herbstreit, down in Arlington.
Opportunistic would be the word to describe LSU. Herbie, they turned 3 fumbles into 3 touchdowns, and they beat Oregon.
Yeah, anytime you have 4 turnovers in an opening game that results in 20 points for the other team, you have 10 penalties or 12 penalties, you're not going to win a football game. But let's give LSU a lot of credit. This is 2 teams in the top 5 of the preseason, a lot of hype and a lot of distractions for both teams, but LSU in the third quarter took the game over. We had some limping, some cramping by the Oregon skill. They checked out. True freshman DeAnthony Thomas checked in, and that's when LSU's defense came after the freshman. They created those turnovers. And then I thought Jarrett Lee, with all the talk and anticipation of how would he do stepping in for Jordan Jefferson, I really thought for this style of offense, he played well. He showed that he's a 5th-year senior, did everything that he needed to do to put his team in position to win the game, and he avoided the turnovers, which was key, with the exception of walking away from the snap before the center snapped the ball back.
Now, LSU